Our boy's been unmatched in this whole damn world for ages, yet I'm out here acting like a scared turtle holed up in the forbidden back mountain for a cool 5 million years. Even when the gorgeous female sect master was crying her eyes out, begging me to come out of seclusion, I still had to reluctantly agree, and told her to just hold on for another 3 years. No cap, it's all because that damn scam system's ultimate cultivation was finally about to finish on the last day, and then things went sideways. Outside, Sect Master Maizuru was screaming her lungs out, just hold on one more day. Just one more day and Junior Martial Uncle will come out of seclusion and smack down everyone. Below, the elders' faces were drained of all color. Is that Junior Martial Uncle even reliable? He hasn't even been in the sect for that many years. At best, he's just a genius. How's he gonna fight off those ancient monsters on the other side? Just as Maizuru was about to spit some encouraging words, a terrifying pressure choked them right in her throat. The Beluo sect had arrived, led by an old geezer, a first-layer spirit travel realm expert named Li Cheng. Behind him were 5 late-stage origin core realm enforcers. This squad? Forget destroying a sect, they could flatten this whole mountain with ease. Beluo sect master Yang Jun, a greasy middle-aged dude with a lecherous grin, stared Maizuru down. My great beauty, don't play hard to get. Surrender gracefully, and I might just be a little gentler with you. That lip-licking move? Instantly made you want to gouge his eyes out. Maizuru trembled with rage. You of the Yang clan, shut your dog mouth. Destroying my Wan Jianshan sect won't be that easy. She took a deep breath, trying to buy time, waiting for me to emerge from seclusion. You really putting all your hopes on that scared turtle in the back mountain? Yang Jun scoffed, then waved his hand behind Maizuru's back. Come on out, no need to act anymore. Immediately after, our very own Origin Core Realm elder named Ma Tang just casually defected to the other side. Maizuru's eyes went wide. Ma Tang, you've gone mad. A wise bird chooses its branch, Sectmaster. Don't blame me for being realistic. Ma Tang stated it like it was obvious. Maizuru was so angry she actually laughed. Fine, consider me blind for ever trusting you. Yang Jun grew even more smug. So? How about instead of 3 days, I find you 3 buff dudes right now? Maizuru stopped playing games, drew her sword, and charged straight forward. Even knowing it was suicide, she had to fight, because she believed in my promise. As long as I stand, the sect stands. I watched from the back mountain, curling my lip in disdain. If it weren't for this damn system's timer being stuck, I'd have already gone down there and wiped out these punks. Right then, a voice finally echoed in my head, a sound that almost made me shed a tear. Host has been disrespected. Undefeated suppression quest initiated. Reward, Heaven Tier Top Grade Sword Technique, Solitary 9 Swords. I took a deep breath, accepted the quest, and my terrifying aura instantly exploded. I directly teleported into midair and roared down at them. Today the Beluo sect will be Irad. Li Cheng, who was just arrogant moments ago, suddenly went white as a sheet. Maizuru abruptly looked up and shouted in shock, "Watch out for Li Cheng!" That old geezer reacted fast too, charging at me like a madman, trying to get the first strike and gain an advantage. Too bad he was just too weak. My right hand gently clenched, like crushing an ant. With one punch, both his divine sense and true chi were utterly annihilated. That first-layer spirit travel realm ancestor couldn't even let out a pitiful scream before he exploded into a mist of blood and bone, vanishing with the wind. Yang Jun and the remaining 4 enforcers were scared stiff. Our ancestor is gone. While they were still frozen, Maizuru slashed Yang Jun right in the chest with her sword. The dude screamed, flying backward. Just as he was about to look up for me, my voice echoed right behind him. Looking for me? Before he could even turn, his vision went black. I slammed his whole body directly into the ground, and good luck ever digging him out. The remaining 4 core Foundation realm cultivators screamed bloody murder and scattered. A demon. This guy's a full-blown demon. And you think you can run? Dream on, losers. Our boy casually unleashed dozens of fist projections. Those clowns barely reached the horizon before getting blown to bits. In less than 3 minutes, that sweet system notification chimed. Congrats, host! You've completed the Invincible suppression quest. Dugu Jiujin has been downloaded directly into your brain. Our boy nodded, fully satisfied. Just then, Maizuru flew over, her eyes practically overflowing with hero worship. Junior Martial Uncle, are you okay? He glanced at her worshipping gaze and just gave a faint, cool smile. I mean, he was just massacring everyone and now he's all gentle and refined. This kind of contrast is just unfair, man. She kept secretly peeking at him. Bro, something is definitely brewing here. If anyone's to blame, it's his damn irresistible charm. But he's fine. Totally fine. Next up, come with me to wipe out the rest of the Beluo sect disciples. His voice was chill, and before Maizuru could even nod, he transformed into a literal Asura, plowing straight into the enemy formation, no fancy moves needed. He was like a human harvesting machine. The remaining Beluo sect fodder dropped like flies in less than 15 minutes. Except for a few lucky stragglers, the rest were one-punched into oblivion. And his blue robe? Not a single drop of blood, immaculate. Looking at Maizuru, who was now gazing at him with outright fanatic devotion, the system's voice chimed in his head at just the right moment. Worship value, new mission unlocked, led Maizuru to destroy the Beluo sect's main lair. Reward, 1 beauty nourishing pill. Accept, instantly accepted, duh. Only a total noob would pass up a quest. He waved Maizuru over. Let's go. Go where? She looked a bit confused for a sec. To raid the Beluo sect's HQ, obviously. No sooner had he spoken than he casually wrapped an arm around her waist, instantly transforming into a streak of light, rocketing straight towards the Beluo sect's mountain gate. Nestled between two lush green mountain ranges, the Biluo sect's main complex stood, looking all imposing and stuff. His spiritual sense swept through, revealing that Yongjun had already led out the entire Biluo sect's fighting force. Only one core Foundation Realm Elder and a bunch of bottom-tier shrimp remained guarding the main hall. "Give me your sword for a sec," he said, holding out his hand. Maijiro didn't hesitate, handing over the Hanmei sword. "Step back," he commanded. The moment his hand closed on the hilt, his eyes turned absolutely frosty. As he took a single step, a terrifying sword intent erupted, making the very heavens and earth lose color, dark clouds swirling ominously overhead. The guarding elder, just realizing something was seriously wrong, shot into the sky only to witness a scene that made his soul nearly flee his body. Our boy wasn't in the mood for small talk. He casually waved his hand, and 9 silver sword keys, like divine dragons bursting from the ocean, roared forth, carrying world-shattering might. With a deafening, sky-splitting roar, the Biluo sect's mighty protective formation shattered like wet tissue paper. After those 9 sword dragons ravaged the place, the once glorious sect was reduced to nothing but rubble and deep craters. As for anyone inside, not even their dust remained. "Here, catch," he said, turning and tossing the sword back to Maijiro. She fumbled to catch it, then stared at the obliterated ruins before her, completely dumbfounded by the sheer shock. Mission reward, beauty nourishing pill. He looked at the jade-white pill that appeared in his hand, then casually flicked it to her. "For you," he said. "What is this?" "It's far too precious. I can't accept. The beauty nourishing pill will make you even prettier. Consider it payment for borrowing your sword." He didn't even wait for her refusal, just pressed it into her hand. Right then, the system warning started blaring non-stop. "Warning, Transcendent Realm Expert detected approaching. Mission activated. Invincible suppression. Reward, Supreme Sword God Physique." Our boy's head snapped up. He saw a scruffy, drunk-looking old man, kind of filthy, carrying a wine gourd, casually strolling through the air. Even though he looked like a total bum, the boundless sword intent emanating from him turned out to be at the first tier of the Transcendent Realm. "Kiddo, what happened to the Biluo sect?" The wasted drunkard stared at me with hazy eyes. "It's gone," I replied deadpan. "Gone." This boozy friend froze, then rage ignited in his eyes and an absurd surge of killing intent locked onto me. "Since you're on Biluo sect territory, I'll consider you one of them." He drew his longsword, each word gritted out. "So, just die already." The drunkard's emotionless voice faded as a terrifying sword chi, strong enough to cleave the heavens and earth, shot right at my face. Looking at this destructive attack, I just sneered in disdain. The Hanmei sword instantly returned to my palm. I didn't retreat but advanced, meeting that sword chi head-on. Taking one step forward, and the two forces clashed violently in midair. There was no grand scene like one might imagine. The drunkard's seemingly invincible sword chi shattered instantly like sea foam. In just one move, the victor was clear. Before he could even react, my oppressive aura erupted. Like a towering mountain crashing down, the drunkard's limbs turned to jelly, almost collapsing to the ground, his eyes filled with terror. "So strong. Who are you?" "Wanjian Immortal Sect's junior martial uncle Chuao." I stared at him coldly. "Don't tell me that trash sect doesn't even have a spirit-roaming realm expert?" He blurted it out instinctively, then seeing the cold sword in my hand, he immediately shut up, his entire body trembling. "Don't kill me. I'll join your sect. I'll be an enshrined elder." I paused for a moment. To be honest, this offer was pretty tempting. My sect was indeed too weak right now, full of newbies, and I couldn't babysit them all day. Having a free Transcendent Realm expert to guard the sect didn't sound too bad. I turned to Meijiruo. "Does our sect still need an enshrined elder?" Meijiruo was stunned, then intelligently understood my meaning and respectfully shook her head. "Junior martial uncle, the enshrined elder position is already full. Did you hear that?" I mocked the drunkard, lightly tapping his face with my longsword. "No room, huh? So why don't you just die already?" No, don't." The drunkard was scared senseless, screaming without a shred of dignity. "If not an elder, then outer disciple is fine. Menial worker is fine. Just don't kill me." Faced with death, any dignity of a strong cultivator is just trash. I nodded in satisfaction. "Outer disciple? You're not even worthy of that. How about this? From now on, you'll stay on Pujo Mountain, sweep the trash, and be a menial worker."
"Thank you, junior martial uncle, for sparing my life."
The drunkard looked like he'd received a grand pardon, frantically kowtowing there. Meijiruo stood beside me, dumbfounded. Perhaps in her entire life, she had never seen a Transcendent Realm expert forced to become a janitor like this. Right at this moment, a sudden twist hit. A vast and majestic sword intent suddenly erupted from within my body. The heavens and earth trembled, and in the void, a massive, illusory sword god seemed to slowly open its eyes. "What is this?" Under their horrified gazes, the long sword behind the drunkard, as if recognizing its sovereign, uncontrollably leaped from its sheath and flew out, emitting a soft hum meekly flying into my hand. "System reward has arrived. Supreme Sword, God Physique, 10,000 swords submit." Even the life-bound sword of a Transcendent Realm expert didn't dare act presumptuous in front of me. "Here, take it back." After test-driving the new cheat code, our boy tossed his sword back like it was actual garbage. The drunken fraud fumbled to catch it, his eyes, previously filled with terror, now held nothing but utter reverence. He shakily sheathed the blade, probably worried I'd change my mind and give him another dose of reality. I stood there for a few seconds, but when that scamming system didn't drop any new quests, I instantly lost interest. Our boy started moving, telling Meijiruo it was time to head back to the sect. Back at the Wanjian Immortal sect, disciples were busy cleaning up the battlefield, Staring at the literal mountain of Biluo sect disciples piled in a ditch, our boy, totally unfazed, strolled into the main hall and plopped himself right onto the sect master's throne. Meijiruo and the 4 True Origin Realm Elders were practically shaking in their boots, standing below, not even daring to breathe too loudly. Junior Martial Uncle, we humbly beg you to accept the position of sect master. Meijiruo suddenly blurted out, and the entire hall fell silent. Our boy looked at her with amusement. Nah, you're good. You keep running things. But don't get it twisted, there's no second in charge here. From now on, I'll be in charge of being invincible, and you'll be in charge of management. Just make sure everything's to my liking, got it? After dropping that bomb, he shot a glare at the 4 elders. You guys are giving her your full support from now on, understood? The 4 of them immediately collapsed to their knees in terror. Your wish is our command, Junior Martial Uncle. With internal affairs sorted, our boy turned to the drunken fraud beside him. As for you, from today forward, you're the sect's odd job disciple. Your duty is sweeping Buzhou Mountain, got it? To everyone's surprise, the drunken fraud actually looked relieved. I mean, sweeping for a Transcendent Realm big shot is way better than, being dead. Personnel sorted, our boy suddenly slapped his thigh, a look of profound regret on his face. Crap, I got too carried away flexing and completely wiped out the Biluo sect. Their treasury and secret techniques are probably gone too. Seeing the elders were screwed expressions, our boy couldn't even be bothered to explain himself. Instead, he just dragged the drunken fraud straight to the back mountain. A month quickly passed and 2 massive events rocked Hangzhou. First, the Wanzhen Immortal sect annihilated the Biluo sect, sending shivers down every major sect's spine, making them line up to offer gifts. Second, some savage, apparently, slept with Princess Chu Yun of the Longqian Imperial Dynasty. Everyone thought it was just baseless gossip, until a blood-soaked figure appeared at the foot of Luohe Mountain, the youth Wang Ming, once a discarded odd-job disciple. At this point, our boy Wang Ming was only at the 2nd tier of the Origin Opening Realm, completely drenched in blood, yet even at death's door he refused to let go of the ring on his finger. Master, can I even make it back to the sect alive? He asked with a bitter, tragic laugh. From the ring, a mature female voice, tinged with a hint of strain, replied, almost there. All he wanted was to return to his roots, to die within the embrace of his sect. The moment Wang Ming stepped into the Wanzhen Immortal sect's territory, a thunderous roar erupted right next to his ears. Wang Ming, you dared to defile our princess? Die, you scoundrel! A brutish, enraged, middle-aged man appeared in the sky, causing the very void to tremble as deafening roars echoed in all directions. On the ground, the young Wang Ming looked up at the sky in despair, sharing a bitter smile with the ring on his finger. Master, looks like I'm destined to die right here at the sect's gates. A punch-carrying, world-shattering power slammed down, about to turn Wang Ming into a literal meat paste. But then a voice boomed, who dares cause trouble within my Wanzhen Immortal sect? Just as things hung by a thread, a brilliant swordlight sliced across, instantly obliterating that fatal punch. The middle-aged man, who was just puffing out his chest, suddenly went pale as a sword she cut left a bloody trail across his face. The one who stopped him? None other than the drunken fraud our boy had just sent down the mountain. Truth be told, the moment they stepped into our territory, a system notification had already blared in our boy's ear. Intruder detected. Invincible suppression quest initiated. Reward, 100,000 marrow absorption pills. Is this a cheat code for free points or what? Naturally, our boy was the first to kick that drunken fraud into action. The middle-aged man, seeing the disheveled yet unfathomably profound drunken fraud before him, immediately hesitated. Senior, I am from the Longqian Imperial Dynasty. This brat defiled our princess. What business is this of yours? Our resident drunkard casually picked his ear, looking mad impatient. Junior Uncle's orders, anybody who dares trespass into the Myriad Sword Immortal sect gets the axe, no mercy. The patrolling disciples were about to jump Wang Ming when one suddenly screeched, wait, you're Wang Ming? The chore boy? While everyone was distracted, this middle-aged dude flashed into a white streak, trying to make a break for it. But running from a Transcendent expert? Bro was delusional. The drunkard just flicked his wrist, bringing down a sword slash that felt like a mountain collapsing. That Divine Travel Realm dude didn't even get a tragic scream out. He was just gone, poof. Senior, this Wang Ming? He was one of our chore disciples, not some random intruder. The patrolling disciple quickly blurted out. The drunkard saw the patrolling disciple confirm it like that, nodded slightly and mumbled a few words, then straight up turned into a sword beam and vanished into thin air, heading back to Buzhou Mountain to report. At the Myriad Sword Immortal sect on Buzhou Mountain, I took a tiny sip of my tea, then frowned at the drunkard kneeling before me. So that chore disciple, he's the one who messed with the princess? The drunkard nodded, recalling Junior Uncle indeed. I turned to Meijiruo, tossing her a spatial ring. This bad boy's got 100,000 body-cleansing pills inside. Consider it your mission reward. Remember, only hand these out to actual geniuses. Don't go giving them to some talentless scrubs, we ain't running a charity here. Meijiruo took the ring, but her face was still etched with worry. Junior Uncle, what if the Longqian Imperial Dynasty shows up demanding him back? I heard they've got 3 Transcendent Realm powerhouses. I let out a soft chuckle. So what if there are 3? If my people mess up, I'll be the one to punish them. Outsiders wanting to butt in? Dream on. The drunkard chimed in then, Junior Uncle, it's not worth all this for a chore boy. How about we just hand him over? We're not exactly short on extras like him. I didn't even let the old man finish. A crushing pressure instantly slammed down on him, making his bones groan and crack. Right now, you're just a chore boy yourself. Want to get handed over too? The drunkard was so terrified he crumpled to the ground, shaking like a leaf. Junior uncle, I was wrong, the old man whimpered, and from now on, drop that habit of bullying the weak. I retracted my pressure. I mused, Wang Ming is literally the MC with a cheek-granting old grandpa. How could I ever toss out a treasure like that? Just then, the system's sweet notification dinged in my ear, detecting hostiles from the Longshan Imperial Dynasty. Invincible suppression mission activated. 9 sword box, except now for instant goodies. Only a fool wouldn't take this. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away in a nearby town, killing intent was soaring to the heavens. A fully armed black-armored army was setting up camp. Their general looked mighty impatient. Still no news from the royal lord? The adjutant carefully replied, no news yet, sir. But word is that criminal has holed up in the Myriad Sword Immortal sect. Apparently it's guarded by Transcendent realm experts. As they spoke, a terrifying aura descended from the sky. A white-haired old man floated mid-air, absolutely seething, his voice shattering all the surrounding windows. Generals, heed my command. Follow this old man. We'll flatten the Myriad Sword Immortal sect, hack that rascal to pieces, and avenge our royal lord. The thundering hooves began, heroic and majestic. Thousands of black-armored soldiers followed the white-haired old man, all charging straight for the Myriad Sword Immortal sect on Bujo Mountain. I held my teacup, taking a small sip as if detecting something. My profound gaze drifted towards the not-so-distant sky. A white-haired old man had arrived, casually floating in mid-air. This old dude stood there, hands clasped, his aura as deep as the abyss itself. Immediately after, the thunder of 10,000 horses galloping echoed. The ground literally shook as thousands of fully armed black-armored soldiers arrayed themselves for war. Killing intent pierced the sky. This was one of the Longshan Imperial Dynasty's 3 grand ancestors, a first-layer Transcendent realm expert. He boomed, who is it in the Myriad Sword Immortal sect? How dare you? The drunkard staggered forward, sword in hand, blocking the old man. Reeking of alcohol, yet his sword intent was absolutely terrifying. The old man narrowed his eyes. So you're that legendary junior martial uncle? The drunkard glanced at me, and seeing I wasn't making a move, he truthfully replied, nah, I'm just a chore boy who sweeps the floors. A mere grunt. The old geezer was so furious he just busted out laughing, his voice echoing like a thunderclap. An expert from the Transcendent realm, reduced to doing grunt work? Is your Wanjian Immortal sect insulting this old man, or do you truly believe I'm only fit for grunt work? Sensing a brawl was about to erupt, Meijiro soared up, leading 4 elders. I am Meijiro, sect master of the Wanjian Immortal sect. Senior, what business do you have here? Just dropping by. The old geezer scoffed, so it's just some snot-nosed kid calling the shots now. Looks like that cowardly junior uncle of yours truly is just a fraud. Meijiro clenched his fist, and this drunkard's sword-like eyebrows shot up. Old geezer, watch your mouth. Are you courting death? The old geezer waved him off. I'm not looking for death just yet, and I'm not here for pointless banter. Hand over the culprit, and I'll be on my way. Meijiro knew exactly what was going on, but his stance was rock solid. My apologies, but the person you're looking for isn't here. Do you even know who I'm after? I know, but it doesn't matter. Even if he committed a death-worthy crime, that's an internal affair of our Wanjian Immortal sect, and it's none of an outsider's business to meddle. Meijiro refused to back down an inch. The old geezer, enraged, just laughed. Wanjian Immortal sect? Quite impressive. Are you truly willing to wage war against the Longshan Imperial Dynasty just for a trash-tier ant in the origin opening realm? We won't hand him over, period. Meijiro declared firmly. Just then, a figure shot onto the rooftop. I'm right here. I did it. I'll take responsibility. Don't let the sect get dragged into this. It was none other than Wang Ming. Our boy's eyes were bloodshot, his face etched with a willingness to face death. Meijiro looked at him, and his own gaze only hardened further. Shut it. The matter hasn't been thoroughly investigated yet. No one is taking you anywhere. Wang Ming was so moved he almost cried. Meanwhile, the old geezer completely lost his patience, his entire body erupting with an aura like a god descending. So you all want to die, huh? Fine then, this old man will grant you that wish. Just as a massive war was about to erupt, with Meijiro's crew ready to fight to the death, my voice, like a ghostly whisper, softly echoed in everyone's ears. I'm just curious, who gave you the audacity to act like this? No sooner had my voice faded than an invincible aura swept forth from Bujo Mountain, blanketing the sky as if the heavens themselves were collapsing, truly peerless. High above the Wanjian Immortal sect, the white-haired old geezer hadn't even processed the meaning of my words before a terrifying sword energy completely locked him down. The Luo sect. What the? He barely managed to let out a horrified cry before his entire being was devoured by the sword energy, instantly turning to ash, not even a speck remaining. One single sword strike, and a Transcendent realm expert was gone. Meijiruo's eyes were practically glowing. Dude looked like he was about to ask me to marry him on the spot. The 4 elders were internally screaming, "Holy tea," but our boy, the resident drunkard, just casually picked his nose. Basic operation, folks. Don't make a big deal out of it. But the Xuanji army outside the mountain gate wasn't having any of it. Every single one of them roared, demanding to storm.
For the ancestor.
Avenge the ancestor. I glanced at those ants who clearly didn't know their place, then waved a hand at our resident drunkard. Clean them all up. Don't leave a single one. With that, I, as if nothing had even happened, turned right back around to Bujo Mountain to resume my nap. Behind me, our drunkard's sword energy erupted in all directions. Thousands of Xuanjia army soldiers dropped like flies, mowed down like wheat. No matter how tough their armor, every single one of them fell in just one move. A moment later, the world fell silent. Mission accomplished. Reward 9 sword case. As the system's notification chimed, Mei Jiruo and our boy, the drunkard, brought Wang Ming up the mountain. As soon as I met him, I could sense a faint yet distinct soul aura on Wang Ming. And wouldn't you know it, sure enough, there's an old grandpa chilling in his ring, isn't there? Looking at this aura, seems to be a she, not a he. You two, get out. I shooed Mei Jiruo and our drunkard away. Wang Ming, nervous, immediately knelt down. Wang Ming, the servant disciple, paid respects to his junior martial uncle while I casually sipped my tea, deliberately putting on a stern face. A mere servant disciple dares to sleep with an imperial princess? Bro really thinks he's Longa Ocean or something? Wang Ming's face went ghost white. Junior uncle, you've got it all wrong. Someone drugged the princess. I just happened to pass by and saved her. I'm really not some pervert. Alright, your scandalous love life doesn't interest me. I stared intently at the ring on his hand. Come out and talk for a bit. How much longer do you plan to hide in there? Wang Ming's face paled in shock. Junior uncle, you can hide it from the world, but you can't hide it from me. I put on my most mysterious face. As soon as I finished speaking, a wisp of a soul body flew out from the ring. Unexpectedly, it was a young woman, still radiating charm. Is truly discerning. Just call me Zhener, she purred, even winking flirtatiously at me. Wang Ming stared, dumbfounded. Old master, where's your usual haughty and cold demeanor? I completely ignored her antics, directly cutting to the chase. Your soul body is about to dissipate, isn't it? At most, you've got 2 years left. Hearing this, Wang Ming freaked out. Old master, are you going to die? Zhener let out a long sigh, her face reflecting utter helplessness. I originally planned to keep it from you, my child, but this master's time is running out. With the time I have left, I'll pass on all of my chi forging techniques to you. You know how to forge artifacts? I started getting interested. Just a little, she replied. Zhener's lips curved into a slight smirk. In that case, let's make a deal. I tapped my fingers on the table. You help the sect with artifact forging, and I'll help you extend your lifespan. The sect is dirt poor right now, and we're in dire need of a forger. Zhener rolled her eyes. My current body isn't stable, but my disciple Wang Ming can do it in my stead. As long as there are enough materials, forging swords for outer sect disciples is a trivial matter for him. Deal, I agreed, feeling extremely refreshed. From today onwards, Wang Ming was promoted to Hall Master of the Artifact Forging Hall, with generous benefits. Zhener sighed in relief, but then she saw a mischievous glint flash in the depths of my eyes. This particular glint made Zhener feel like something was definitely off. It seems I've fallen right into Chuao's trap. On Mount Buzhou, after Zhener finished discussing everything with me, Wang Ming left. I raised my teacup, watching his retreating figure descend the mountain, and smiled faintly. Zhener, I hope a tool like you proves to be useful. As soon as the words left my lips, I flipped my palm and an ancient sword box appeared. Opening the sword box, 9 razor-sharp longswords stood silently within. This was the 9 sword box, a system reward perfectly matched with the 9 swords it held. My current combat power skyrocketed. Even a 3rd-layer Transcendence realm expert would just be offering their life to me. The 9 swords flew together, soaring straight into the 9 layers of clouds, their terrifying sword intent immediately enveloping the entirety of Mount Buzhou. It was as if a great ancient beast roared in the sky. Recalled at my will, the 9 swords moved like dragons swimming back to the sea, immediately returning to their sword box. Then that old drunkard rushed up frantically, his face filled with horror. What was that commotion just now? Just forging some swords, that's all. Why are you so worked up? I casually waved my hand. The old drunkard glanced at the 9 sword box on the ground, his pupils constricting. This is an ancient divine weapon. The old man swallowed hard, looking at me like I was a monster. What exactly is the background of this junior martial uncle? He even possesses ancient divine artifacts that have been lost for ages. After chasing away the old drunkard, I continued my cultivation. 3 days later, the 9 sword box and I had perfectly fused as one. I felt like I could now beat up 100 drunkards. Just then, the system notification rang out again. Detecting major sects from Qingzhou are about to pay a visit. Invincible suppression quest initiated. A request to suppress all the visiting sects. The reward, the Divine Demon Ghost Steps technique. But heads up, this might piss off a lot of people. 'Cause outrage, you say? I wish there was more outrage. How else am I supposed to farm quests? How else am I gonna get rewards to become unbeatable under heaven? I'm even worried I'll flex too hard and scare off the Longshan Imperial Dynasty, then they won't even dare to show up. Wouldn't that be a huge loss of loot? Being too strong is truly a pain, you know? Meanwhile, back in the imperial capital of the Longshan Imperial Dynasty, after hearing their Transcendent Realm ancestor got wiped, the royal family was absolutely livid. 5 terrifying Transcendent Realm auras shot into the sky, shattering the seal beneath the city's protective river. The river water reversed, and a horrifying shadow, long imprisoned, burst to the surface, bringing sky-high murderous intent as it soared straight towards the Wanjian Immortal Sect. But back at the Wanjian Immortal Sect, everything was still chill, calm before the storm vibes. Early the next morning, Mei Jiruo came to report. Little martial uncle, the big shots from Qingzhou's major sects have arrived. Noted. I stepped out of the wooden house, straightened my robes, and a knowing smirk played on my lips. It's time to start flexing. With that, I vanished from Buzhou Mountain. At the Wanjian Immortal Sect Plaza, disciples gathered, their faces full of curiosity as they looked up towards the sect's Grand Hall. Inside the Grand Hall, all the freaks and weirdos from Qingzhou had gathered. Sectmaster Mei, your little martial uncle is quite the diva, isn't he? Someone spoke up with a sarcastic tone, their eyes full of disdain for Mei Jiruo. After all, these old foxes were all divine travel realm cultivators, so looking down on a true essence realm sect master was pretty standard business. Meijiruo could only force a laugh. Everyone, please wait a moment, he's almost here. That guy was about to drop a few more snarky comments, but I decided to answer him with direct action. Boom! A terrifying sword intent pressure immediately descended, like an invisible giant hand pressing down on every single one of their heads. Those arrogant sect representatives instantly went pale, looking like someone was literally choking them out. The weaker ones straight up buckled and collapsed to their knees right there. Their bones creaked and groaned. I strode into the grand hall amidst a deathly silence. Meijiru, understanding the vibe, gracefully yielded the main seat. I plopped down, casually retracting my aura. My apologies, everyone, for the long wait. Everyone gasped like fish out of water, greedily sucking in air. Looking at this pathetic bunch of trash who just moments ago thought they were hot stuff, now utterly pathetic. I smiled disdainfully. Did you all come bearing gifts to truly build connections, or are you just here to probe my strength? Before my words even finished, the sword intent behind me erupted like a flood dragon bursting from the ocean. These guys were so terrified their heads were shaking like broken rattles. Forging good relations, absolutely forging good relations. Just as I was in the grand hall, listening to these guys spew flattery at the foot of Buzhou Mountain, two uninvited guests arrived, one old, one young, and clearly not disciples of my sect. The drunkard gatekeeper immediately blocked their path. Reborn Immortal Sect is forbidden territory. Unauthorized personnel beat it. That young girl clenched her fist and dropped a bombshell that almost made the drunkard bite off his tongue. Luri of the Liu clan from Qingcheng is here to find her fiancé, Chu Ao. The drunkard instantly froze. Your little martial uncle's fiancé? The young girl blushed and nodded. The drunkard dared not delay, quickly asking her to wait at the foot of the mountain, not daring to just let anyone up. The old servant, a peak divine travel realm expert who had accompanied the young girl, didn't even bother with pleasantries after dropping her off. He simply turned into a streak of white light and vanished. The drunkard watched the old servants disappearing back, frowning. That kind of attitude from a servant towards their master. Looks like little martial uncle's fiancé is in for a tough ride. At this moment in the grand hall, I was listening to all the flattery until I was practically dozing off. Senior, your divine might is truly peerless. Yawns. I impatiently waved my hand at the next sycophant. Just then, an incredibly tyrannical surge of murderous intent suddenly descended from the sky, like a meteor smashing into Earth. A massive explosion just rocked the entire damn hall. Everyone's faces instantly went whiter than a ghost. Someone just breached security. Myriad Sword Immortal Sect. Invincible suppression quest has begun. Mission: slaughter the intruder. Reward: immortal battle armor. The system even threw in a fake risk warning, but our boy just swiped past that shit and accepted. Troops arrive, generals meet, water comes, earth blocks. Since when did this old man ever know fear? Just then, an elder came busting into the main hall, looking like he just saw a ghost. Junior martial uncle, someone's literally slaughtering their way through. All the other sect reps, who were enjoying the drama, simultaneously snapped their heads to stare at our boy. Our MC calmly stood up and just flicked his sleeve like it was nothing. Yeah, I know. Stand down. With that, he took a single deliberate step out of the great hall. And with each step, sword shadows erupted, filling the entire sky. The crowd behind him quickly followed, terrified of missing the absolute show that was about to unfold. In the main square, a hooded dude in black was flexing with two lightning chains, just whooping the drunkard's ass and making him constantly flee. Lightning covered the whole damn sky, and the whole scene looked pretty intimidating. That cunning old drunkard, seeing our boy arrive, immediately started faking like he was about to collapse. Bro's an actor. You think you can kill me? The hooded dude was radiating lightning and pure arrogance. But the moment he saw our boy wasn't in the mood for small talk. Deep within the Zhujianxia, a divine sword had been practically vibrating with impatience. You are? He barely got the words out. Whoomp! A cold flash of light, not even a 10,000th of a second. The hooded dude, who seconds ago was flexing like a literal thunder god, was instantly skewered by a single sword strike from our MC. Easy clap. 100 meters away on the cliff, his lightning disintegrated, and his entire body hung limp like a dead dog, unable to even twitch a finger. Ribozo. The entire square went dead silent. Drip, drip, only the sound of blood hitting the ground echoed. Congratulations, host. You have threatened the major sects in Shu. Mission complete. Reward divine ghost steps. 2 birds, 1 stone, baby. A slight smirk played on his lips. In an instant, our boy teleported in front of the cliff, yanked out his longsword with one hand, and blood sprayed like a damn geyser. He stared at the corpse, utterly devoid of emotion. Who sent you? And check it. Even on the brink of death, this dude was still stubborn as hell. OMG, that's Lei Laogui. Someone in the crowd screamed in terror. That's the demon head subdued by the Longxian dynasty over 100 years ago. Longxian dynasty, our boy mused, licking his lips. His eyes were practically sparkling with interest. Right at that moment, Lei Laogui's body suddenly inflated at warp speed, looking like a damn balloon. Boom, he straight up self-destructed. A rain of blood poured down, drenching our MC like a human blood snowman. But was he mad? Nah, he just grinned. Because right then, that familiar sweet sound rang out again, detecting hostile actions by the Longxian dynasty towards the host. Invincible suppression mission initiated. Mission requirement: invincibly slaughter and suppress the entire Longqian dynasty. Mission reward: Shanhei map. The system announced. Damn, these missions are popping up faster than my cultivation breakthroughs. Looks like it's afraid our boy will get bored. Accepted. He stepped out of the sword light looking pristine, not a single speck of dust on his fresh fit. That sect representative who had helped identify Lei Laogui was still on his knees, trembling like a leaf. Consider it a favor owed. The moment those words dropped, the dude was so hype he nearly passed out. A favor from someone in the Transcendent realm? Bro could flex that for the rest of his life. Everyone nearby practically turned green with envy, but our boy couldn't care less about these jealous haters. He called out, "Drunkard, get over here." "Junior Martial Uncle," the drunkard scrambled over. "You know the way to the Longshan dynasty, right?" "Yeah, passed through a few years back. Kinda remember." The drunkard was stunned, asking what for, to lead the way. "We're setting off immediately to annihilate the Longshan dynasty." Our boy's voice was calm, as if he was asking what was for dinner. The whole square went dead silent again. Everyone's jaws dropped. "Annihilate a whole dynasty? Just like that?" The drunkard wiped cold sweat, leaning in close and lowering his voice. "Junior Martial Uncle, can we take it easy with the whole destroying a dynasty thing? Your fiancé just arrived." "What?" and Meijiruo cried out in unison. Our boy's brows furrowed. "Drunkard, are you sloshed? This old man's been single for 50 years. Where the hell would I get a fiancé? Okay, so I'm a transmigrator, but I got all the OG hosts' memories. A life-changing event like this? How TF could I forget?" Old man drunkard looked awkward as hell. "She says she's Lu Rui from the Lu clan in Qingcheng." Two voices from the crowd gasped in shock. Yeah, those two sect reps from before. Wait, does that name ring a bell or something? Our boy turned to face them. Their faces were a mess of emotions as they cautiously explained. Qingcheng is the biggest city in Qingzhou, and the Lu clan, they're practically royalty. But this Lu Rui, even though she's a Lu, she ain't from the main branch. Her status? Far from ordinary. Suddenly, some blurry-ass memories popped into my head. Back when I was a kid, seems my cheapskate old man actually took me there. Alright, where are these Lu clan folks? At the mountain's foot, our boy wasn't in the mood for small talk. He just turned into a streak of sword light and shot down the mountain. Behind him, he could faintly hear those two still mumbling. This faction of the Lu clan is utterly screwed. Karma's finally catching up. At the foot of the mountain, sure enough, he found a young maiden just chilling, lost in thought on the steps. The moment she saw him land, her face immediately went crimson. "Senior, do you know who I am?" She thought, anyone bold enough to just fly around the sect like this, other than Junior Martial Uncle Joe Ao, who else could it be? She wasn't arrogant, but definitely not self-deprecating either. He nodded. This girl's got some serious mental fortitude, he thought. He told her, "Follow me up the mountain, all the way to the peak." Once there, he gestured for her to sit. Time to cut the small talk and get straight to business. "What's this fiancé deal all about?" She took a deep breath, her eyes firm. "Senior," she declared, "you are indeed my fiancé, and I am indeed your fiancé." Seeing how serious she was, our boy couldn't help but believe her, at least a little. Early the next morning, he was prepped and ready at Buzhou Mountain. Old man drunkard wanted to tag along, but our boy held him back. What if the Longqian dynasty decides to try a sneak attack while he's gone? Someone's got to be home to throw hands, just in case. Taking Lu Rui with him, he transformed into a streak of sword light and shot straight towards the Longqian dynasty. For the next 3 days, the Longqian dynasty was in absolute pandemonium. Word spread from the borders. A single young dude rocking a long sword had demolished 7 or 8 strongholds in just 3 days. Doesn't matter how many powerhouses they sent, every single one got one-shotted by his sword. And yep, that young man, that was our boy. Lu Rui walked beside him like an invisible bystander, watching him massacre enemies like they were nothing but overgrown weeds. How can he be this strong, she wondered. She stared at the literal piles of bodies, her eyes wide with terror. "Stop zoning out," he snapped, shaking the blood from his sword. "Lead the way to the next city." "Yes, senior," she stammered, all her previous thoughts gone, obediently leading the way forward. Meanwhile, all the major dynasties in Jingzhou, hearing the Longqian dynasty's borders were collapsing, saw their chance. They sent massive armies, ready to carve up the spoils. What these dynasties didn't realize, though, was that our boy wasn't just the Longqian dynasty's nightmare. He was about to become their ultimate bane, too. The Longqian dynasty's most bustling city, second only to the imperial capital, was now a complete ghost town. Streets empty, not even a shadow in sight. Outside the city, a 100,000-strong army was already in formation, waiting. Their killing intent was so thick you could practically chew it. Anyone unaware would think this formation was for a world-ending war. Who'd have guessed it was all just for one single guy? The moment our boy and Lu Rui showed up, all 100,000 eyes immediately locked onto them. "Joao has arrived." "Entire arm up," the leading general bellowed. The 100,000-strong army roared in unison, their shouts rattling the very clouds. Our boy just looked at this sea of enemies and couldn't help but crack a smile. All this pomp and circumstance, just for me, he thought, amused. Lu Rui's face went ghost white. Is Choding Long really this unhinged? They sent a whole 100,000 troops just to catch our boy? Are they wildin'? Our boy just shook his head. Nah, they ain't crazy, they're just scared. These 100,000 clowns, they're just lining up for an L. As soon as he finished talking, the system notification popped up at the perfect time. Detecting Choding Long's utter lack of morals, the Invincible suppression quest has begun. Requirement: slay all 100,000 troops. Reward: 1 Phoenix Rebirth Pill. Warning: multiple concurrent quests, extreme risk. Please proceed with caution. Caution my ass, accept. Our boy didn't hesitate. Gotta chase the bag even if it means flirting with danger. If you're scared of death, why even play the villain? Oh wait, why even be the MC then? My bad. But what our boy didn't know was that the moment he accepted the quest, Mount Buzhou, all the way in the Wanjianxian sect, trembled violently as if something was about to burst from its core. Meanwhile, the 100,000-strong army swarmed in like a tsunami, shaking the very heavens and earth, kicking up a storm of dust. A cruel smirk played on our MC's lips as he flung Liu Rui into the air, then slapped his hand onto the nine-sword casket. Dugu Jujian, unleash! Divine swords like azure dragons surging from the sea erupted with world-destroying sword might, tearing straight into the enemy forces. Boom! Boom! Wherever that sword light slashed, limbs and blood were sent flying. The ground was carved into deep, grotesque trenches. The elite army, just moments ago full of arrogant swagger, instantly turned into a flock of sheep waiting for the slaughter. How is this even possible? A terrified soldier watched his comrades drop like flies around him. The very next second, his own head went flying. Our boy hovered in the air, an emotionless killing machine, even feeling a little bored. This dude is too terrifying. Liu Rui was trembling behind him like a leaf, so to avoid her getting in his way, our boy just casually yeeted her onto a distant mountaintop. Half an hour later, out of the 100,000 troops, only 30,000 shattered remnants remained. 8 divine swords formed a sealing sword formation, trapping them so tight even a fly couldn't escape. Our boy, holding the last divine sword, descended directly into the battlefield. The system's requirement was total annihilation. Not a single one could be left standing. Spies from various factions observing from afar were utterly petrified. They bolted, running for their lives to report back. Monster, that guy is an absolute monster. The 100,000-strong army is done for. News spread like wildfire, reaching every corner of the dynasty, the Golden Luan Hall, and the imperial capital of Chodinglong in the blink of an eye. The emperor sat on his dragon throne, his terrifying aura shaking the entire grand hall. Below him, civil and military officials were drenched in sweat, none daring to breathe too loudly. We ask you, our ministers, has our Chodinglong dynasty truly been suppressed by a mere brat to the point we cannot even raise our heads? As His Majesty's deep rumbling voice echoed through the Chodinglong imperial court, the entire court of officials fell silent as the grave. No one dared to poke the emperor's raging bear, for admitting their weakness felt even worse than death itself. The prime minister, trembling, stepped forward. Your Majesty Chuao, this man is simply not someone our dynasty can contend with. Boom. Killing intent flashed in the emperor's eyes and terrifying pressure instantly descended, nearly forcing the prime minister to his knees. So, my esteemed minister, are you saying our empire is about to fall into the hands of some milk-faced brat? The emperor's voice was so dark it could practically drip ink. The prime minister, drenched in sweat, was cursing wildly in his heart. At a time like this, who's still got time for flexing? The real proper course of action is to scatter and run. Report! A frantic scout burst into the grand hall, delivering news that plunged everyone into despair. Your Majesty, the 100,000-strong army outside Beiming City has lost 30,000. The rest are still being massacred. The entire hall erupted in commotion. 100,000 elites slaughtered like pigs. Is this Chuao guy even human, or is he a demon? The emperor shot up, his eyes bloodshot. Just as he was about to unleash a thunderous rage, an ancient voice suddenly echoed. Chuming, an old man with crane white hair and a youthful face, slowly stepped into the grand hall. Each of his steps landed like a heavy beat on everyone's trembling hearts. Grand Elder Suo Tian, the Longchan Imperial Court's ultimate trump card, this old monster in the second-layer Transcendent realm, had the entire court prostrating themselves. Grand Elder Suo Tian didn't even spare the emperor a glance, casually stating, "Hand over Suo Yun." What? Emperor Suo Ming thought he'd misheard him. Grand Elder, Suo Yun is the victim. How can we just hand her over? No biggie. The dynasty will just be annihilated. Grand Elder Suo Tian's cold voice implied sacrificing one princess to let the dynasty cling to its last breath. This great deal of yours? I refuse. Suo Ming roared, "This is the myriad sword immortal sect's fault. Why should my daughter pay the price? If we do this, what face will the imperial dynasty have left to stand on?" Boom! Suo Ming was sent flying backwards, slamming into the dragon throne and spitting out a mouthful of blood. This old man isn't negotiating with you, I'm informing you. Grand Elder Suo Tian didn't even spare him a glance. The heavily injured emperor turned and left, rushing straight into the imperial harem to seize the girl. In the great hall, Suo Ming, propped up by the prime minister, watched the Grand Elder's retreating figure and let out a guttural, beast-like roar. Not long after our boy Chuao left, a streak of white light, carrying the tightly bound Princess Suo Yun, departed from the imperial palace. Suo Ming collapsed to the ground, tears of blood streaming from his eyes. "Concubine Zhen," he choked, "I have wronged you." Meanwhile, I concealed my aura, quietly stepping into the Longchan imperial dynasty. The moment I entered the imperial capital, I gazed towards the location of the imperial palace. Does old man Suo Tian really not know if that girl Suo Yun misses me? Outside Beiming City, in just a few short hours, 70,000 troops were decimated by me, leaving only 10,000, and the 9 Swords unit was also wiped clean. The last 10,000 Bahuang soldiers also couldn't escape my wrath. Mission accomplished, rewards issued. As the system notification flashed by, I casually walked over to Liu Rui. "Let's go," I said. "Next stop." Just as I finished speaking, the thunderous sound of horse hooves, shaking the very heavens, resounded from afar. 10,000 white-armored cavalrymen roared as they charged, led by a valiant and fierce female general, clad in white armor and at the peak of the divine roaming realm. She gazed at the corpses strewn everywhere, not only unafraid but even revealing a hint of satisfaction. A bit interesting, I guess, I thought, not wanting to get involved. Leading Lu Rui, I prepared to depart. Your Excellency, are you Chu Ao of the Myriad Sword Immortal sect? The female general's voice called me back. I paused, my gaze full of unspoken meaning. Who are you? If you were from the Longshan Imperial Dynasty, you would have already attacked instead of standing here chatting with me. I am the Grand Marshal of Cavalry from the Baima Imperial Dynasty. Shuru clasped her hands and replied, by His Majesty's command. We wish to form an alliance with your Excellency to eradicate the Longshan Imperial Dynasty. Not interested, I coldly refused. Furthermore, I warn you, Baima Imperial Dynasty, don't even think about Longqian. That's my prey. Anyone who dares to snatch it, I'll annihilate them too. Shuru clearly hadn't expected such a decisive refusal, yet still tried to persuade me. Senior, we've already prepared. Whoosh! I was too lazy for more nonsense, so I just waved my hand, unleashing a burst of sword chi. Shuru reacted at lightning speed, her long spear vibrating fiercely. Her true chi erupted, allowing her to block the attack. Though unharmed, her expression turned incredibly grim. So strong she inwardly gasped, utterly terrified. Just then our boy's voice calmly echoed from behind her. Pretty good reaction. In the spirit travel realm, you'd even be considered a master. Too bad you shouldn't have flexed in front of me. She suddenly spun around, her pupils contracting. Our boy had already appeared behind her without a sound, and out of the 10,000 iron cavalry she brought, 1,000 heads had already left their bodies, not even getting a chance to scream. Consider these 1,000 a small lesson for you all. He stared coldly at her. Next time, if you're still blind, you'll be the one getting erased. With that, our boy, along with Lu Rui, transformed into a streak of swordlight and vanished into the distance, leaving her standing there, dumbfounded by the wind. As news of the Battle of Beaming spread, the entirety of Qingzhou was shaken. A single man slaughtering a 100,000-strong army? What even is that concept? The great powers all issued orders. From now on, if you see Chuao, take a detour. Anyone who dares to provoke him will be directly expelled from their sect. At this moment, Wucheng, the last city before the imperial capital of the Longshan dynasty, was no longer besieged by armies. Instead, countless spies from various factions secretly watched. On the city walls, old ancestor Chu Tian along with Princess Chu Yun, whose eyes were red from crying, waited in silence. Old ancestor Chuao has arrived. An imperial family old ancestor flew over to report. Hearing that name, Chu Yun's tears immediately burst forth. On the horizon, our boy, longsword in hand, led Lu Rui as they walked through the void towards them. As he approached, he sensed a somewhat interesting aura from someone in the Transcendent realm. He looked at old ancestor Chu Tian on the city wall, then chuckled to Lu Rui behind him. The Longqian dynasty is quite polite, aren't they? Sending a second-tier Transcendent realm old ancestor just to boost my kill count. A second-tier Transcendent realm expert coming to offer their life? Wucheng! Wucheng! From the city wall, old ancestor Chu Tian looked at him outside the gates, his voice booming like thunder. Esteemed sir, are you perhaps Chuao? A fierce wind billowed his robes. Our boy stood mid-air, an indifferent expression on his face. A second-tier Transcendent realm. So you're the strongest old man in the Longshan dynasty, huh? Chuti old man, Chu Tian, has come to offer his life? No, we've come to beg for peace. As Chu Tian spoke, he pulled Chu Yun from behind him to the front. Everything was because of this girl. Today, the Longqian dynasty is willing to hand over its princess. We only beg for your mercy, esteemed sir, to grant us a path to survival. The spies within the city erupted in a buzz of whispers. An imperial old ancestor, reduced to such utter humility, handing over their own princess just for peace? Bro really out here sacrificing his fam. Our boy just burst out laughing. Beg for peace? Are you all delusional or something? His gaze dripped with disdain. Annihilating your Longshan dynasty has nothing to do with this woman. I simply find you all an eyesore. The system quest is laid out right there. Even if a heavenly king came, they'd still have to be wiped out. The moment he finished speaking, the 9-sword armor suddenly activated and sword chi filled the sky like intricate gears, instantly locking down the entire space. Old ancestor Chu Tian's face drastically changed. He didn't even bother to bargain. The old man tried to resist, but under the might of the Dugu 9 swords, that feeling of utter powerlessness drove him to despair. Run, quickly. Before dying, he forcefully pushed Chu Yun away. Immediately after, 8 divine swords simultaneously pierced through his chest. The strongest old ancestor of the Longqian dynasty couldn't even withstand a single move, dying on the spot. After dispatching the old man, our boy's gaze shifted to the young one, a spirit travel realm cultivator who had grabbed Chu Yun and was trying to flee. Whoosh! A streak of sword chi swept past, terrifying the cultivator out of his wits. He immediately threw Chu Yun back to make his own escape. Bang! The sword chi sliced through, and Chu Yun was instantly cut into 2 halves. A minor character like this wasn't even worth another glance. It would just be a waste of time. Immediately after, he followed up with another sword strike. The fleeing spirit travel realm cultivator couldn't escape either, turning into a rain of blood mid-air. With that, all remaining imperial family members in Wucheng were annihilated. The spies in the city were scared out of their minds, frantically sending news outwards. As for our boy, he led Lu Rui straight to the final destination, the imperial capital Longqian. By now, the imperial capital was already in utter chaos. Citizens locked their doors, refusing to go out, filled with panic and dread. Is Chuao seriously a demon? He kills without batting an eye and even wants to raise a whole city. We gotta bounce. Run? Where the heck are we gonna run to? Outside, it's nothing but the armies of the 3 great imperial dynasties. Stepping out is a death wish. Exactly, the imperial capital is completely sealed off, no way out. The Baima, Heilong, and Xuanwu imperial dynasties each have 100,000 troops lined up, just waiting for me to kill my way into the imperial palace so they can swoop in and claim the spoils. Inside the Baima imperial dynasty's camp, Xu Ru, having just returned with his battered troops, was intercepted by the marshals from the other two houses. The Heilong marshal eagerly asked Marshal Xu, "You've fought with that Xu Ao, what's his true strength, really?" Xu Ru's face was pale, recalling that suffocating sword move. He slowly uttered two words, "extremely strong." The Xuanwu marshal furrowed his brow. "How strong exactly?" Xu Ru took a deep breath, his eyes serious. "Strong enough that Qingzhou might be suppressed by him alone." The Heilong Imperial Dynasty's marshal scoffed after hearing Xu Ru, his face full of disbelief. "Marshal Xu, have you been scared silly? Suppress an entire province by himself? Even if Chu Ao cultivated since he was in his mother's womb, he couldn't possibly be this strong." The Xuanwu marshal also chimed in. "Exactly, how much cultivation can one achieve in just 50 years? Our Qingzhou might not be the strongest, but it's not some place anyone can just waltz in and suppress." Xu Ru looked at these two blindly confident fools, let out a cold laugh, and said, "My message has been delivered." Chu Ao said, "Whoever dares to mess with his plans, he'll destroy them. Believe it or not, it's your funeral." The two men's faces stiffened. Though they wouldn't admit it, a hint of fear still lingered in their hearts. After all, the Longqian Imperial Dynasty's fate was a clear warning. What if Chu Ao was truly that terrifying? "All right, we get it," the Heilong marshal conceded. "Anyway, this time there are other smaller nations to serve as cannon fodder. If things truly go south, then everyone will bear the brunt together." Meanwhile, the Longqian Imperial Palace was shrouded in utter despair. Emperor Chu Ming's hair had turned white overnight, aging him decades. He had foolishly thought sacrificing his daughter could buy them peace. Turns out, not only did his daughter die, but even their old ancestor lost his life. The Longqian Imperial Dynasty was now a fish on the chopping block, and even the Prime Minister was in despair. "Your Majesty, where there's life, there's hope. We'll get our chance for revenge." Chu Ming slumped on the dragon throne, waving his hand to give the order. "Open the city gates. Let the 9,000 Xuanjia troops escort the royal dependents to flee. As for me, I'm not leaving." Chaos immediately erupted in the imperial palace as concubines and palace maids scrambled to escape. Cries and wails shook the earth from a mountaintop outside the imperial capital. Our boy and Lu Rui were leisurely observing all of it. "Senior, do we truly have to annihilate the Longqian Imperial Dynasty?" Lu Rui's gaze was complicated. After all, this place held no small number of her maiden memories. "Do I look like I'm joking?" Our boy said nonchalantly. Suddenly, a sharp aura rapidly approached. Our boy's eyes narrowed. He stood up and blocked in front of Lu Rui. A young man standing on a flying sword hovered midair, his entire body radiating the formidable aura of a Transcendent Realm second-layer expert. "You killed Chu Yun?" he questioned from above, his sword intent instantly engulfing the entire mountain. Our boy raised an eyebrow, much stronger than that old fraud Chu Tian. Courting death, the young man raged, a sword she, like a long rainbow piercing the sun, slashed straight towards our boy's face. His immortal battle armor automatically activated, protecting his body. Sparks flew everywhere, yet our boy didn't even bother to budge. Not a single scratch. How is that possible?" The young man's eyes were wide, his face looking like he'd just seen a ghost. This sword swing wasn't even his full power, but not just anyone could tank it straight up. Before he could even process what happened, I was gone. Poof! "Too slow, buddy." A voice like a phantom echoed right behind his sorry self. Then I unleashed a punch that hit like a god descending. Boom! This young master was ragdolled straight into the ground, creating a crater 7 to 8 meters deep. He was a bloody mess, splayed out at the bottom of the pit, couldn't even grip his weapon anymore. T2 spat blood, his eyes wide with pure terror. I jumped into the pit, 1 foot on his chest, pinning him down. Then I casually picked up his sword, gave it a little twirl, and stuck it right next to his ear. "You're from the Longshan Empire, aren't you?" the dude replied, stone-faced. "So, why are you trying to off me?" I wondered aloud. "Did you kill Chu Yun?" The dude replied, pure rage burning inside him like his guts were on fire. "Chu Yun?" I furrowed my brow, then it clicked. "Oh, that Chu Yun. You're her, boy?" I asked, a hint of mischief in my tone. "Nah," the dude shook his head. "Then why are you trying to off me?" I asked. "Did you kill Chu Yun?" The dude just repeated himself, snarling, "Damn you, just die already." Hearing this clown repeat himself again, a nameless fury erupted within me, followed by a dull thunk. This dude's head got absolutely obliterated by the long sword in my hand. The moment this dude breathed his last, far away in Qingzhou, a certain sect nestled deep within a grand valley, suddenly a furious roar ripped through the air from within that very sect. Tuho dared kill my disciple? Judging by that screech, gotta be a woman. Right after the roar, dozens of figures shot out of the sect, tearing out of the valley and straight towards the general direction of the Longqian Empire. At the moment, I had no clue about this young master's background, but honestly, even if I did, I wouldn't give two shits. My strength is simply built different. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, it was the next day. Just as dawn broke, our boy and Lu Ruyi headed straight for the imperial capital. On their way, the scouts from the 3 great dynasties spotted our duo and immediately pieced out to report. Then, the moment the intel dropped, the 3 great dynasties directly mobilized a whopping 100,000 troops, all aimed at storming the imperial capital. As the 100,000-strong army of the 3 great dynasties began their march, the imperial capital also got the memo. I was practically knocking on their door. Xu Ming quickly decided to have the remaining 9,000 black armored guards lead their families and bolt out of the imperial capital. But before those 9,000 black armored guards could even think about rushing out, Lu Rui and I were already at the city gates. Just two of us, but to smack down the imperial capital right now? That's more than enough. Thump, thump, thump! The soldiers on the city walls saw me and immediately started banging the war drums to send the alarm throughout the imperial capital, or more precisely straight into the imperial palace. Inside Jinluan Hall, the moment Xu Ming heard those drums, he instantly turned to a divine roaming realm general standing beside him. Charge. As soon as the words left his mouth, the general gave a solemn nod, dramatically flicked his sleeves, cupped his hands in a respectful salute, and then bolted out of the grand hall. Next thing you know, outside Jinluan Hall, the rhythmic thud of horse hooves filled the air, a sky-high battle intent rising. Looking out, the 9,000 black armored guards were already lined up and ready to rumble. A moment later, that same general who was just in Jinluan Hall strode to the front of the 9,000 black armored guards and bellowed at his troops. Today are the last hope of the Longqian Empire. All of you charge out of this imperial capital with me. At the general's command, the 9,000 black armored guards simultaneously gripped their long spears, brandishing enough killing intent to make the heavens tremble. Their path was as clear as the heavens above, for behind every black armored guard stood a family. In a flash, 9,000 black armored soldiers stormed out of the imperial palace, rushing towards the north gate. The north gate's defenses were thin, offering a better chance to break out. Right after the 9,000 black armored soldiers left, 5 first-level Transcendent Realm Old Ancestors emerged from the Golden Throne Hall, their faces etched with complex emotions as they gazed towards the south gate. Oh, who would have thought this vast Longqian dynasty would be brought down by a single person? An old man with a head full of white hair sighed, saying, as this elder's sigh trailed off, the remaining 4 first-level Transcendent Realm Old Ancestors felt a wave of mixed emotions, remembering how they themselves had unleashed that lay old freak years ago, all to eradicate the Wanjin Immortal sect. And now, karma's a bee hitting them right back. These 5 first-level Transcendent Realm Old Ancestors were truly the Longqian dynasty's last desperate trump card. Their sudden appearance signaled one thing: it was the absolute endgame. Whoosh! In a flash, the 5 first-level Transcendent Realm Old Ancestors transformed into 5 streaks of white light, soaring straight for the south gate. They were the Longqian dynasty's literal guardian deities. Even knowing death awaited, they had to charge and face me. At the south gate, I could already feel the 5 first-level Transcendent Realm Old Ancestors hurtling straight for me. But instead of unleashing my 9 Swords aura immediately, I simply sat cross-legged on the ground, quietly waiting. This weird move left the spies from the 3 major dynasties scratching their heads. They couldn't figure out why I wasn't just wrecking the Imperial City. But then, quick as a flash, they spotted the 5 first-level Transcendent Realm Old Ancestors appearing on the south gate's city wall. The moment they stepped onto the wall, an overwhelming surge of pressure, like a world-shattering tsunami, enveloped the sky, shook heaven and earth, and slammed down hard on those 5 old ancestors. Boom! Without even a moment's resistance, all 5 immediately dropped to one knee, faces contorted in agony, their auras already spiraling into chaos. This was me, flexing my sword pressure, literally forcing these 5 to grovel. The 5 instantly caught on to what I was doing, and their rage spiked, their eyes burning with pure fury. A true warrior can die but never be humiliated. I was brazenly, shamelessly humiliating all 5 of them. Yet despite them pouring every ounce of their power into resisting, there was no way they could stand against this overwhelming sword pressure. They could only remain on one knee, faces contorted in pure agony. Meanwhile, in a bamboo forest not far from the Imperial City, Shuru, holding a teacup, quietly observed the entire scene. She couldn't help but feel a flicker of surprise, then spoke to the 2 individuals beside her. To suppress 5 first-level Transcendent Realm cultivators with just sword pressure, his power really is that terrifying. If our Baima dynasty ever crosses paths with Zhou in the future, remember this. Don't even think about fighting, just run. As Shuru finished, the 2 beside her quickly nodded in fervent agreement. Marshal, you're absolutely right. This Zhou's strength is genuinely terrifying. Your subordinate believes this Zhou's power is probably enough to flatten the entire Yin family in Qingzhou, or even multiple sects. No doubt, Zhou is the supreme terror of the Yin family and their sects. They're just a bunch of rats. All they know is how to hide and scurry away, showing absolutely none of the prestige of a top-tier force. Hearing the words Yin family, Yin sects, Shuru's eyes flashed with pure disgust. She clearly had no love for these rats. Marshal, it looks like he's about to make his move. Just as Shuru took a sip of tea, one of her companions gasped, pointing towards the south gate. Shuru heard this, instantly set her teacup down, and whipped her head around to the south gate. There she saw me at the south gate, already standing, my 9 Swords aura appearing by my side as if out of thin air. Boom! Just as I was about to unleash my 9 Swords aura, sudden tremors of battle erupted from the north gate. The 9,000 black-armored soldiers had engaged the Xuanwu dynasty. The Longqian dynasty's imperial city had a total of 4 gates. The south gate was overseen by the Baima dynasty. The Heilong dynasty handled the west and east gates. And the north gate was the Xuanwu dynasty's responsibility. I sensed the battle erupting at the north gate, and a smirk played on the corner of my lips. Trying to run, huh? Dream on, buddy. I let out a low growl, and before the words could even leave my mouth, the 9 Sword abode just straight up busted open. 9 longswords, like beasts unleashed from their cages, ripped through everything, tearing apart the very air, and shot straight towards the north gate. At the Imperial City's north gate, the Xuanwu dynasty's marshal sat silently on horseback, his entire being radiating an immense pressure. This pressure felt like the heavens themselves were collapsing, making it impossible for anyone to breathe. Kill! From not far away, waves of clashing and killing sounds echoed. Looking closer, 9,000 Longqian dynasty's black armored soldiers, long spears in hand, were bravely charging through the Xuanwu dynasty's attacking army formation. Gotta say, the strength of these 9,000 black armored soldiers was nothing to scoff at. The Xuanwu dynasty's vanguard of nearly 10,000 soldiers stood no chance against the black armored army. The Xuanwu dynasty's marshal, seeing this situation unfold, suddenly extended his right arm and bellowed, "All troops!" But unfortunately, before the marshal could even finish his shout, 9 longswords, like meteors plummeting from the sky, streaked towards the 9,000 black armored soldiers. The 9,000 black armored soldiers were utterly defenseless. In just 1 second, the 9,000 black armored soldiers were down to 4,000. The Xuanwu dynasty's marshal looked at the surviving 4,000, and the sheer horror in his eyes was indescribable. He watched as the 9 longswords continued to slaughter the remaining 4,000 black armored soldiers. He finally understood how I had annihilated 100,000 of the Longqian dynasty's main army outside Beiming City. This terrifying combat power filled him with dread. Just like that, as time passed, in only about 3 minutes, the remaining 4,000 black armored soldiers were all cut down, and the Imperial retainers behind them? All of them met their end with a single sword piercing their hearts. I made sure they didn't suffer a single bit of pain. No other way around it, I'm just that professional, guaranteeing you won't feel too much pain. Need someone killed? A professional doing professional work. After all 9,000 black armored soldiers were wiped out, the 9 longswords sliced through the air, flying towards the south gate, clearly intending to return to my side. The Xuanwu dynasty's marshal saw this, and a complex look flickered in his eyes. This terrifying combat power, this aura, had planted an indelible seed in his heart, truly worthy of being Qingzhou's unrivaled one. The Xuanwu dynasty's marshal muttered, and he wasn't the only one thinking it. At this moment, at the north gate, all the Xuanwu dynasty soldiers felt that I was Qingzhou's unrivaled champion, capable of suppressing an entire region. That's how terrifying I was. Afterwards, the Xuanwu dynasty's marshal ordered his soldiers to clear the battlefield. The black armor on the black armored soldiers was good stuff, and he wasn't about to let it go to waste. At the south gate, I stood ramrod straight, sensing the 9 longswords had returned. A knowing smile spread across my face as I looked at the 5 first-tier Transcendent realm old ancestors prostrating on the city wall. I walked through the air, heading directly towards the 5 individuals. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The moment I arrived in front of them, 4 of the 9 longswords returned to the 9-sword abode. The remaining 5 hovered menacingly above the heads of the 5 old ancestors. One wrong move, and those 5 swords would drop, scattering the souls and spirits of the 5 old ancestors into oblivion. Many in the Imperial City who saw this were pale as ghosts, as one bystander nervously joked, even if this died days ago, he wouldn't be this pale. On the streets, a few old-timers seemingly unafraid of death appeared. After witnessing this scene, everyone, young and old, collapsed to their knees in despair, murmuring, "The Longqian dynasty is finished. The Longqian dynasty is done for," to personally witness their nation fall. This was probably what these old Heismers least wanted to see, especially at the hands of someone from another nation. But where there was sorrow, there was also joy. The 3 great empires outside the imperial capital were hyped, to say the least, especially the Black Dragon Empire's marshal, who was grinning from ear to ear. Up on the city wall, our boy glanced at the 5 royal ancestors before him, a smirk playing on his lips, pure disdain radiating off him. The next instant, I was fully prepared to just yeet these 5 straight to the afterlife. But just as I was about to drop the hammer, dozens of white streaks of light zoomed in from the distance, making the air explode with each passing second. Our boy sensed these dozens of light beams come to a halt, turning to see where they'd landed, right on top of a mountain peak. And wouldn't you know it, that exact mountain peak was where I'd offed that young master yesterday. Who dared to kill my disciple? And right on cue, a furious roar from the peak echoed loud and clear into our boy's ears. The next second, an old Taoist nun, hair white as a crane's, face rosy, materialized in the air not far from our MC. Her entire presence exuding an awe-inspiring heavenly might, eclipsing the very sky itself, as if the great Tao of heaven and earth converged upon this old lady. Seeing this, our boy subtly raised an eyebrow. This turn of events caught him slightly off guard, not gonna lie. And it wasn't just him. The 3 great empires and all the common folk in the imperial capital were also collectively shook. Meanwhile, at the White Horse Empire's army encampment, Shu spotted the old Taoist nun floating in the air, and a flash of pure rage ignited in her eyes before she snarled softly, "The Xuan sect is that Yin family sect from Qingzhou. They're pretty damn strong, power-wise." This old Taoist nun hovering in the air? She's at the 3rd stage of the Transcendent realm cultivation. And what exactly does 3rd stage even mean? In Qingzhou, that's practically an unbeatable tier. But honestly, who knows if a 3rd stage Transcendent realm cultivator can even block one sword strike from Zhou. The old nun in the air seemed to sense our boy's intense gaze, turning her head to fix him with a profound stare. The moment she felt his aura, she suddenly felt like some primordial beast had awakened. A sound of confusion escaped her lips. Right after, the nun seemed to realize something about our boy, her face instantly darkening, And just like that, a peachwood sword materialized in her hand. A towering sword intent erupted from her body, shooting straight up to the 9 heavens like a flood dragon bursting from the sea, stirring up world-ending waves. Then, the nun's voice boomed out to our boy, still chilling on the South City wall. "Was it you who killed my disciple?" Hearing this old nun's words, our boy was for a split second taken aback. Then remembering that young master from yesterday, he just casually nodded and replied, "He was literally asking for death, so I obliged. But tell me, old hag, are you also looking to court death?" As our boy dropped that last line, a colossal aura, like an ancient earth-shattering roar, ripped through everything, instantly stopping hearts. Boom! The nun felt this suffocating aura, and for a split second she involuntarily recoiled several steps, immediately activating her protective true chi shield. The very next moment, the old nun felt her vision black out, as if she'd been plunged into the void of cosmic space. And the master of this mind-shattering spiritual attack? Yeah, it was our boy. Our boy usually isn't a huge fan of using spiritual attacks, honestly. He feels like it's a move for some petty villain. And since our boy ain't no petty villain, he rarely busts out his spiritual attacks. But hey, if he's facing a whole squad of powerful ops, he ain't above being a little villainous for efficiency's sake. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As the void trembled, the nun's vision finally snapped back, her whole body returning to normal. In a flash, dozens of figures zoomed in from the distance, landing right behind the old nun. Seeing this, our boy just subtly muttered, 5 Transcendent Realm Stage 2 cultivators, 1 Transcendent Realm Stage 3 cultivator. Guess I underestimated this Qingzhou after all, huh? As his words dropped, everyone expected fear, but all they saw on our boy's face was a sinister, almost demonic excitement. The very next second, our boy's roar reverberated for dozens of miles. Now, die. As his thundering roar pierced the ears of every single member of the Shuan sect, they instantly felt an overwhelming, ominous aura engulf them whole. This feeling made them feel like they couldn't even breathe. His words hadn't even fully dropped when our boy straight up summoned the 9-sword Hapu. 4 longswords, like bodyguards, hovered by our boy's side, swish, 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 the void trembling wildly. A vast sword intent continuously erupted from his body until it covered the entire sky, even obscuring the sun and moon. Immediately after, the 5 longswords that were floating above, belonging to the 5 royal ancestors, also returned to his side. The sword pressure from these 9 longswords felt like the sky was collapsing, sending chills down everyone's spines. The ancient divine weapon, 9-sword array. The Taoist nun exclaimed in shock the moment she saw the 9-sword array. What? The 9-sword array? As the Taoist nun's words dropped, dozens of people behind her also cried out in unison, their eyes filled with utter shock. Guess you guys aren't entirely blind. Our boy heard the Taoist nun's words, a slight smirk playing on his lips. The next moment, the 9 longswords spun, flipping heaven and earth on their head, sweeping across the desolate lands, piercing through heaven and earth, tearing through the air, causing it to explode layer by layer like a celestial descending from beyond the heavens. They simultaneously charged towards the Shuan sect disciples in front. Seeing this, the Shuan sect members all drew their weapons to fend off the 9-sword array's attack. Unfortunately, only 8 sickening thuds were heard. 8 first-tier Transcendent realm martial artists from the Shuan sect plummeted from the sky like kites with cut strings. The clanging of metal resounded. One could only see the Taoist nun, wielding her peach wood sword, blocking one of the longswords from our boy's 9-sword array. But even though this Taoist nun managed to block it, she couldn't help but stagger back a few steps, her face so dark it looked like thunderclouds were brewing. At this moment, the instant she blocked that single sword, the Taoist nun felt as if she was facing a primordial savage beast. That terrifying power and oppressive aura made the Taoist nun realize she couldn't possibly contend with it. Honestly, our boy's strength was like that of gods and Buddhas, making the Taoist nun feel like he absolutely couldn't be from any local Qingzhou force. Who exactly are you? After parrying the sword, the Taoist nun roared her question at our boy. This one is Chuao, junior martial uncle of the Wanjianchen sect. Our boy looked at the Taoist nun who had just parried his sword, a flicker of admiration in his eyes, then he opened his mouth to introduce himself. Gotta show a little respect to the strong, after all. But the Taoist nun didn't seem to want this respect, as she had just sensed all the Shuan sect disciples behind her. The moment she'd spoken, they had already been cut down by our boy's remaining 8 longswords. Swish, swish, swish. The 8 longswords, having finished their killing, immediately surrounded the Taoist nun, their incredibly sharp tips pointed straight at her. Seeing this, the Taoist nun swallowed hard. Just 1 longsword from the 9-sword array had already made her struggle. Now she had to face 8, and all at once. But it seemed the Taoist nun had been a little too optimistic. The next second, the 9th longsword, which she had parried away, suddenly appeared right before her eyes. Its tip pointed directly at her forehead. The 9th longsword seemed to possess a spirit of its own, emanating a chilling sword chi even more intense than the other 8, making the Taoist nun feel as if she'd plunged into an ice cellar. Thump, 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 our boy clasped his hands behind his back, walking leisurely in the air. With every step, sword images radiated from his body, like sword gods descending to the mortal realm. The sword images seemed to pierce through the sky, covering both heaven and earth like the roar of a god, like the defiant roar of the ocean. 3rd-tier Transcendent realm, quite the strength. Too bad you shouldn't have followed your disciples here to offer your life, our boy said to the Taoist nun with an expression so smug it could infuriate anyone to death. The Taoist nun heard our boy's words, and thinking of her tragically dead disciple, her eyes reddened, and she immediately flew into a furious rage. This disciple was her dragon's inverse scale, and so the next second our boy sensed a powerful surge of true chi radiating from the Taoist nun's body, surging violently, piercing through heaven and earth, sweeping across the 8 directions like raging tidal waves crashing down. Immediately after, from who knows where in the sky, peach blossom petals suddenly began to drift. Each peach blossom petal, sharp as a blade, tore through the void before enveloping our Taoist nun. Seeing this, I was secretly curious, like, yo, this just got interesting. Though curious, a flicker of seriousness appeared in my eyes. Because right then, I sensed that the Taoist nun, enveloped by the peach blossoms, was getting stronger, like way stronger. Super quickly, I felt intense gusts of wind heading straight for me. Whoosh, my robes flapped wildly in the wind. Rustling sounds also came from where Shuru stood. Shuru gazed at the Taoist nun, now covered in peach blossoms, a heavy and complicated expression on his face. The Peach Blossom Kill, Shuan Sect's ultimate technique. Using this move is basically going for a mutual annihilation, but can it actually harm Senior Zhuao? Shuru muttered to himself, honestly, if this was before I met our boy, I'd be 100% sure. Anyone who faced a Shuan Sect member unleashing the Peach Blossom Kill was absolutely doomed. But after meeting me, Shuru started thinking that if the Peach Blossom Kill could even scratch me, that would already be legendary. At this point, it wasn't just Shuru feeling this way. Even the marshals from the Heilong and Xuanwu imperial dynasties figured the Peach Blossom Kill was useless against me. However, just when everyone was convinced the Peach Blossom Kill was a no-go for me, in the Nangong skies, the Taoist nun's roar ripped through the air. Even though she was a woman, she was now radiating pure Sigma male energy with her Peach Blossom Kill. The Taoist nun's voice, like thunder from a clear sky, made more than a few people's knees buckle. The next instant, the petals around her, along with the Taoist nun herself, merged into a single massive peachwood sword, shooting straight for me. Seeing this, I let out a low growl. My fingers danced through the air in a blur, summoning 9 longswords that streaked forth like white tigers charging down a mountain. They rushed frantically towards that peachwood sword, their aura like a dragon's roar, bang 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 bang, followed by dozens of resounding explosions. My 9 longswords failed to block that peachwood sword. Instead, it somehow made the peachwood sword's aura even stronger. This unexpected turn of events forced me to instantly summon my immortal battle armor and equip it. Boom, first a deafening explosion, then another crash. I was sent flying backwards, my whole body slamming hard into the Southgate city wall. Kablam! The Southgate city wall instantly crumbled where I hit it. Damn it! The instant they saw me get launched, the marshals of the 3 great imperial dynasties immediately started cussing. Their eyes held unparalleled horror like they'd been hit by a lightning bolt frozen solid on the spot. He got sent flying? Shuru, unable to believe his eyes, sprang to his feet, staring at me embedded in the city wall, his entire aura growing increasingly unstable. If I go down here, failing to defeat the 5 old ancestors of the Longqian imperial dynasty, it'll be enough to wipe out the 100,000-strong army of their 3 great imperial dynasties. You gotta know, even though their 3 imperial dynasties were currently trashing the Longqian imperial dynasty, they hadn't sent any Transcendent realm old ancestors to hold down the fort. The reason was simple, 2 main considerations. First, what if I completely annihilated all the Transcendent old ancestors of the Longqian imperial dynasty? Then they'd basically just waltz in, so no need for their own Transcendent old ancestors to show up. Second, what if I decided to turn on them? If their Transcendent old ancestors weren't there, they could minimize their losses. However, just as Shuru was spiraling in his worries, an earth-shattering roar erupted from the Southgate city wall, rocketing straight into the clear blue sky. You're courting death, you're literally courting death. Following a lion-like roar that shook the heavens, immediately after, a terrifying sword aura, radiating immense pressure, shot towards the peachwood sword, sending chills down everyone's spines with its incredibly potent sword intent. It coalesced into a veritable storm of sword chi. Zzzzz. Heaven and earth themselves shifted colors, the void trembled. 9 solitary swords, my low roar echoed for hundreds of miles. Peach Blossom Kill, a roar burst forth from within the peachwood sword. In a flash, the peachwood sword's power converged. The Taoist nun's attack shot towards the sword light I materialized, and 2 Asment sword intents instantly slammed into each other. Bang, 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 bang. A series of explosions erupted, and dense white smoke instantly spread everywhere. In that instant, everyone collectively craned their necks to stare at the sky, desperate to see who had won and who had lost. Especially the 5 imperial old ancestors, who were still kneeling on one knee atop the city wall. If I died, the Longqian imperial dynasty would be considered saved. But if I didn't die, then the Longqian imperial dynasty would be utterly doomed. The 3 marshals from the 3 great imperial dynasties were in the same boat. Life or death, they could only wait for the white smoke to clear, to see who would be the last one left standing. Just like that, time slowly trickled by, the white smoke gradually cleared, and everyone's expressions shifted unpredictably. A moment later, they saw me standing in mid-air, hands clasped, exuding an aura of righteous supremacy over the world. The Taoist nun is dead. I won. The 3 marshals saw me standing there and immediately erupted into raucous cheers. Jiang Jun was preparing to advance on the imperial capital, while on the Longjian imperial dynasty's side, everyone's faces had gone ghostly white. In mid-air, I looked at the Taoist nun, her wooden sword still in hand, flickering weakly like a lamp in the wind. I praised her, acknowledging her immense strength. Unfortunately, the Taoist nun couldn't respond. At this moment, the Taoist nun's face was ashen like cold embers, her entire body soaked in blood, clothes torn and revealing large swathes of pale, untouched skin. Even with her profound cultivation, it seemed the Taoist nun had popped some kind of youth-preserving pill back in the day, keeping her looking roughly 30 years old. Die. I let out a soft roar. The moment my words faded, I unleashed a surge of sword chi without a shred of hesitation, sending it directly at the Taoist nun. The sword chi tore through the Taoist nun's body, and her form instantly shattered, her soul scattering to the winds. Thus, a martial artist at the third level of the Transcendent realm simply lost her life. On the Southgate city wall, the 5 Imperial Old Ancestors watched, their faces ashen, their bodies completely devoid of strength, their will to fight utterly shattered, like soulless husks, unable to fight, unable to flee. They could only stand there, silently awaiting death. Now, it's your turn. My voice rang out like a devil demanding their very souls. Bang bang. The heads of the 5 Imperial Old Ancestors exploded like dropped watermelons, brains splattering everywhere. Their vitality extinguished, bodies gone. They couldn't have been deader if they tried. Having dispatched these 5 Imperial Old Ancestors, I mounted my sword and flew towards the Imperial Palace. Inside the Imperial Palace, Chu Ming was slumped on the dragon throne, while the Imperial Guards frantically tried to protect him. And this was supposed to be the Emperor of a Grand Kingdom. Crash! At that exact moment, the doors of the Golden Dragon Hall were kicked wide open. I stepped in, long sword in hand, as cries of "Protect His Majesty" erupted. Seeing this, the Imperial Guards uniformly drew their swords and surged towards me. Seeing their charge, I merely gave a slight shrug of my shoulder. Instantly, a vast oppressive aura surged forth, and all the Imperial Guards rushing at me collapsed, utterly unable to rise. Pop, 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 pop. Then, unable to withstand my oppressive aura, these Imperial Guards directly exploded like bursting balloons. Instantly, the thick stench of blood permeated the entire Grand Hall. In just a few short seconds, every single Imperial Guard within was completely wiped out by me, their blood flowing like a river. Thud, 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 thud. Heavy footsteps echoed through the silence. I slowly advanced towards Chu Ming. With every step, the entire Grand Hall trembled slightly. The moment I stood before Chu Ming, several dragon pillars supporting the hall immediately crumbled. Who would have thought the Longqian Imperial dynasty would be destroyed by my hands? Chu Ming, slumped miserably on the dragon throne, stared at me. His mournful voice echoed. The very next second, Chu Ming's eyes glazed over and his breathing ceased completely. The once great Longqian Imperial Dynasty's Emperor Chu Ming had committed suicide. Seeing this, a flicker of something complex passed through my eyes, but I said nothing. Instead, I simply drew a finger horizontally across my chest. Crumble, the ceiling above collapsed, crushing down on Chu Ming's body. Immediately after, the entire Grand Hall completely disintegrated. I directly vanished from the spot, reappearing atop the Southgate city wall. The moment Chu Ming croaked, a system notification popped in our boy's ear. Host has completed the mission to suppress the Longshan Imperial Dynasty. Rewards are now being distributed. The Mountain River map reward has been sent. Please check your inventory, host. A small golden text line flashed, then vanished. Standing atop the Southgate city wall, our boy watched the golden text disappear, stretching with a satisfied grin. Then he soared straight to Lu Rui's side. While the MC was busy clapping Xuanzong, Lu Rui had gone to Shu Ru. Senior, Shu Ru saw him, immediately stood and respectfully cupped his hands in a bow. You guys can head in now. Our boy glanced at Shu Ru after hearing him, then spoke. With those words, Shu Ru nodded gratefully to the MC. Immediately after, Shu Ru directly led the Grand Army towards the Imperial capital. A formidable 100,000-strong army marched in. The Xuanwu Imperial Dynasty and Black Dragon Imperial Dynasty saw Shu Ru and the Imperial capital following suit. Once the 3 great Imperial dynasties had taken over the Imperial capital, our boy turned to Lu Ruyi. The Longqian Imperial Dynasty business is handled. Now it's just your turn. Good, this is great. Lu Ruyi was stunned at first upon hearing him, then nodded in response. Lu Ruyi walked ahead, leading the way for our boy. As she led him, Lu Ruyi's brow furrowed. She couldn't help but mutter to herself, this Chuao's strength is absolutely insane. Will my plan even work now? Lu Ruyi had originally harbored her own intentions for him, but after witnessing the MC clap a third-tier Transcendent Realm martial artist, she realized that plan might just be impossible. But for now, Lu Ruyi could only play it by ear, one step at a time. While Lu Ruyi led our boy to Qingcheng, the Lu family there had already heard about him and Lu Ruyi. They knew she was bringing him back to the Lu family. At this moment, the Lu family was in total chaos. Many demanded that those who had harmed and bullied Lu Ruyi be kicked out, but sadly, the Lu family head shot down every request. The Lu family head knew our boy's temper. Didn't the Longqian Imperial Dynasty try to appease him by offering Princess Chu Yun? What good did that do? Bro still clapped her like it was nothing. So the only thing the Lu family could do now was scramble to escape Qingcheng, to flee Qingzhou entirely. However, just as the entire Lu family was freaking out, in the Lu family's backyard, a middle-aged man with a limp, flashing yellow teeth cradled a golden dog in his arms. He whispered, looks like the time to repay the Lu family's kindness has finally arrived. Time passed. In Qingzhou Mountain, where Qingcheng was located, our boy and Lu Ruyi had arrived. Our boy gazed at the sprawling Qingzhou mountain range before him, a glint flashing in his eyes. Honestly, this Qingzhou mountain was just like the 100,000 Great Mountains, a lair for demonic beasts stretching endlessly. Just by hearing Qingzhou Mountain, you'd know it's the mountain of Qingzhou. But how many mountains in Qingzhou could possibly bear that name? Clearly, it was the longest, widest and largest mountain in the entire Qingzhou range. However, within Qingzhou Mountain stood a single majestic city, and that city was Qingcheng. Despite how massive Qingzhou Mountain was, the road to Qingcheng had long since been built, becoming a bustling main thoroughfare. However, this road was swarming with all sorts of factions, from the top tier to the bottom feeders. Because Qingcheng belonged to no single power, it was a melting pot of all kinds of folks, including desperate souls flocking there to seek refuge. Why? Because Qingcheng boasted a colossal arena. In that arena, as long as you won 10 rounds, no matter who you defended, Qingcheng would grant you protection. Rumor had it this rule was set by Qingcheng City Lord, but these days barely anyone knew who the City Lord actually was. Oh, and a quick side note, while the Liu family was the top family in Qingcheng, they merely resided there. They weren't the actual owners of Qingcheng. At this moment, on the main road leading into Qingcheng, our boy was there, seemingly with an ox, with Liu Ruyi following behind. Your hometown sure is lively, huh? He looked at the dense crowd on the main road, then turned to Liu Ruyi. Honestly, even though I outwardly prefer peace and quiet, I actually like lively places. If it were possible, I'd seriously want to stay in this Qingcheng, maybe become a city lord or something, you know? But that's just a thought. I still gotta head back to Wanjian Immortal Sect anyway, to lead the Wanjian Immortal Sect to suppress the myriad realms. Senior Liu Ruyi said, it's just lively. That's about it, Liu Ruyi said to him with a complicated expression. Hearing Liu Ruyi's words, our boy gave a subtle, hard-to-read smile. Move. Right then, a loud shout echoed from behind. Turning around, our boy saw a white-robed young master galloping full speed on the main road. Seeing this, many people on the road scurried away, bowing their heads as if they didn't dare to even look at this white-robed dude. This scene got our boy wondering. Before he could even ask Liu Ruyi about this person's identity, the sound of hoofbeats grew louder. He watched as the white-robed young master charged straight at him, yelling, "Get out of the way." The white-robed young master snarled at him, and hearing that, our boy's brow furrowed. The moment his brow furrowed, a system notification rang in his ear. Warning, host has been verbally abused. Invincible suppression mission initiated. Mission objective. Kill or suppress the white-robed young master with an invincible display of power. Reward, 10 marrow cleansing pills. Time limit, 3 minutes. Failure to complete within time will result in mission failure. Beep. System detected host is currently undertaking river washing duty. Accepting this mission may lead to unpleasant consequences. Does host wish to accept? Accept. Our boy replied without a shred of hesitation. Although the reward was only 10 marrow cleansing pills. Hey, 10 pills are better than 0, right? However, the moment he accepted this mission, Buzhou Mountain in the Wanjian Immortal Sect once again shook violently, and dense demonic auras spread out. Too bad our boy was completely oblivious to what was happening right then. All he registered was a bam as he punched the horse right in the head. In an instant, the white-robed young master was sent flying off his horse. The moment he hit the ground, the horse he was riding exploded into a bloody mess of flesh and gore. What? The white-robed young master stared in disbelief as his horse exploded from a single punch, then turned a furious gaze towards our protagonist. Do you even know who I am to dare kill my horse? The white-robed young master glared at our boy, angrily questioning him. I don't need to know who you are. Hearing this, our boy just scoffed and shook his head disdainfully. A moment later, bam, a shadowy fist slammed directly into the white-robed young master's chest. In a flash, the white-robed young master didn't even fly back. He just exploded right there, like a popped balloon. Same fate as his horse, apparently. Nonggong Shai. The moment our boy off the white-robed young master, an old man not far away roared a name, flying towards them with a cultivation of Transcendent Realm Layer 2. Our boy sensed the old man's cultivation approaching and slightly frowned. Although this old man's cultivation was only Transcendent Realm Layer 2, something our boy couldn't care less about, don't forget the name the old man just called out. He seemed to be merely a subordinate. If a mere subordinate's strength was already at Transcendent Realm Layer 2, then the strength and background of his master must be seriously legit. But our boy didn't care. Troops come, generals block, water comes, earth dams. He'd deal with it. Then, as if no one else was even there, he calmly took the 10 marrow cleansing pills he just got and swallowed them, beginning to refine them. Just as he finished refining, he was ready to move forward. The old man rushed to the pile of mangled flesh, collapsing to his knees, his eyes bloodshot as he roared. The very next second, the old man charged at our boy like a madman. Immediately, a destructive surge of power crashed down. Seeing this, our boy just sneered and pulled out his Jujianshi. He selected a long sword and held it horizontally before his chest. A moment later, a clang resounded. That destructive true chi surge was directly blocked by him. Immediately after, whoosh! Our boy swung a sword chi strike directly at the old man. Thwack, the old man didn't even have time to use a defensive skill before the true chi pierced through his body, leaving a bloody hole in his chest. The next second, T-ud. The old man collapsed, his entire body devoid of breath, soul departed from his corpse. Truly powerful. That's Su Lao from the Nonggong family. Rumor has it Su Lao was a Transcendent Realm expert. Didn't expect him to be killed by that cow-herding nobody with a single sword chi strike. And he dared to kill the Nonggong young master? This guy's identity and strength absolutely cannot be underestimated. Quickly send people to investigate. Who exactly is this dude? Could this absolute menace be Junior Marshal Uncle Chuao of the Wanjian Immortal Sect? A voice from the crowd rang out and everyone looked at our boy in astonishment. This is a strong possibility. Chuao's strength is no joke, so one-shotting Elder Su of the Nongong family with a single sword, totally on brand. Plus, Chuao was already en route to Qingcheng, and by now he should totally have arrived. Not to mention, next to Chuao was a woman, and even though her face was veiled, her figure totally matched that problematic girl from the Liu clan. All signs pointed to this cattle herder being none other than Chuao, the current junior grand uncle of the Wanjian Xianzong. The only thing making them doubt his identity was, why in the world was Chuao leading around a giant ox? Boring. I, still leading Zhou, just casually glanced at the crowd, then acted like nothing happened and kept strolling towards Qingcheng. 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 The city walls were like 17 stories tall and the entire city only had one single entrance. Qingcheng was absolutely massive, 3 times larger than the imperial capital of the dragon's potential dynasty. Precisely because Qingcheng was so massive, it could even house these huge arenas and large-scale entertainment districts. At this very moment, outside Qingcheng, me and Liu Ruyi finally reached the city gates. The Nongong family really is as formidable as you described, right? While we were queuing to enter the city, I spoke up and asked Liu Ruyi. On the way here, she'd been filling me in on the white-robed young master, basically spilling all the tea on the Nongong clan. Liu Ruyi nodded at my question and said, rumor has it the Nongong family's old ancestor is a half-step Saint Realm expert and his strength is absolutely terrifying. A half-step Saint Realm expert compared to your Liu family. They've got to be stronger, not weaker, right? I asked Liu Ruyi, esteemed senior. She nodded, indeed. But the Nongong family's Stage 3 Transcendent Realm cultivators are actually less numerous, perhaps only a third of what our Liu family possesses. However, the Nongong family does have more Stage 1 and 2 Transcendent Realm cultivators than us. But with Liu Shen on our side, our overall strengths are pretty much neck and neck. Liu Ruyi heard my question, pondered for a moment, then spoke up. Indeed, a half-step Saint Realm expert is truly terrifying. But for the Liu family, who openly dominate Qingcheng, that's still not enough to truly impress. Got it. After Liu Ruyi finished, I just nodded. So Liu Ruyi and I rolled into Qingcheng. The moment we stepped inside, a powerful aura slammed right into my face. The source of that menacing aura? None other than the Nangong family head himself, Nangong Wentian. Nangong Wentian was a Stage 3 Transcendent Realm expert, but let's be real, a Stage 3 Transcendent Realm expert is still nothing in my eyes. Like, who hasn't already clapped a Stage 3 Transcendent Realm expert, honestly? The moment I stepped into the reception hall, Nangong Wentian immediately shot up, warmly greeting me with clasped hands. Fellow Taoist Chuao, it's an honor to meet you. If there's any impoliteness, please forgive my excessive formality. I just waved my hand at Nangong Wentian, after which he invited me to take the seat of honor. The moment my butt hit the seat, I immediately told Nangong Wentian, Nangong family head, just cut to the chase. I don't like beating around the bush. Nangong Wentian nodded, eyes squinted in a sly smile and asked, I wonder what fellow Taoist's relationship with the Liu family is like. Not close. So senior, can you help the Nongong family wipe out the Liu clan? You want to team up with me to wipe out the Liu family? I asked Nangong Wentian, a cunning glint flashing in my eyes. Immediately after, Nangong Wentian nodded at me, completely serious. Senior's strength is known throughout the Nangong family. With Senior's help, plus our Nangong ancestor stepping in, the Liu family will surely be wiped out. That's true, but what's in it for me? I asked Nangong Wentian with a smile. What does Senior desire? Nangong Wentian asked me, his face a complicated mess. After saying that, he'd already made up his mind. Whatever demands I threw at him, as long as I helped wipe out the Liu family, it was a done deal. But if Nangong Wentian knew his son got clapped by my hand, I wonder what he'd actually think then. The Nongong family is the second biggest clan in Qingcheng. I bet they're stacked with cultivation pills, huh? I don't need much. Just cough up 500,000 cultivation pills and we're good. I told Nangong Wentian, 500,000. Nangong Wentian instinctively frowned, warring with himself internally. Even though I hadn't specified the grade of pills, he knew he couldn't hand over bottom-tier stuff. What if I flipped sides, saw the Nongong family disrespecting me, and then teamed up with the Liu family to wipe them out? That would be a catastrophe. But of course, he couldn't give super high-grade pills either. If he had to fork over 500,000 high-grade cultivation pills, that number was just too damn big, not something he could decide on his own. I mean, if we wiped out the Liu clan first, that'd be simple. But judging by my vibe, it looks like he'll have to pay up front. So, Nangong Wentian was racking his brain, wondering what grade of magic pills would make up those 500,000 he owed me. Our boy just chilled on his seat, silently watching Nangong Wentian squirm. After a long moment, Nangong Wentian finally spoke to me. Taoist Chuao, how about those 500,000 magic pills delivered to your hands by tomorrow? Sounds good, I just nodded with a smirk. Honestly, I didn't really care about the grade of the pills. As long as they were cultivation-boosting magic pills, it was fine. Because the disciples of my Wanjian Immortal sect weren't exactly peak cultivators. Giving them overly high-grade magic pills wouldn't do much good anyway. That's right, I needed those 500,000 magic pills, not for myself, but for the sect disciples. After I gave my nod, a faint smile finally appeared on Nangong Wentian's face. But just then, a commotion broke out outside. A servant rushed in, immediately collapsing to his knees before Nangong Wentian, wailing, "Young master, something terrible has happened." "What? What happened?" Nangong Wentian, hearing the servant's words, instantly shot up, asking with a panicked, breathless voice. Hearing the servant's frantic words, the faint smile on my face vanished, replaced by an enigmatic, rather amused gaze towards Nangong Wentian. Meanwhile, Lu Ruyi, standing behind me, was incredibly tense. She was afraid Nangong Wentian would instantly flip out and declare war right then and there. Even though Lu Ruyi knew I was super strong, she couldn't forget that the Nangong clan had a half-step Saint Realm expert holding down the fort. What if I couldn't contend with them? The plan would fail and all that effort would go down the drain. That was something she absolutely couldn't accept. Someone saw Chuao kill the young master. The servant answered Nangong Wentian. As soon as the servant finished speaking, Nangong Wentian's eyes widened in utter shock and he cried out, "What did you just say?" After Nangong Wentian's shout, he slowly turned around, staring at me in complete disbelief. Meanwhile, our boy was still casually chilling on his seat, not even bothering to shift an inch. "This senior did indeed take out 2 guys on the road," I stated. "But those 2 fools tried to assassinate this senior. It was purely legitimate self-defense. Lu Rui here can vouch for it." I said to Nangong Wentian, utterly fearless. "At worst, it's just a fight, right? Might even trigger a new system quest." Nangong Wentian heard that and instantly understood the situation in his heart. Patriarch. Just then, the high-ranking members of the Nangong clan marched in from outside. Each of these high-ranking figures possessed profound cultivation, all of them second-tier Transcendent realm experts. But at this moment, every single one of them looked utterly dejected, because they had just received news that their young clan master had been killed by Chuao. They feared Chuao, spurred by the young master's death, would ally with the Lu clan to wipe out the Nangong clan, so they'd gathered here to find Nangong Wentian and figure out a solution. But little did they know, the very person who offed their young master was currently sitting calmly on a chair, right in front of them, chilling. Patriarch, the young clan master, was always unwilling to cultivate properly. Constantly indulging in excessive debauchery, he provoked Chuao and got himself killed by Chuao. What if Chuao decides to come knocking on our door? What will our Nangong clan do then? The middle-aged man leading the group asked, his voice ringing out. He immediately laid out the purpose of their sudden visit to Nangong Wentian. This man was the Nangong clan's second master, Nangong Wensheng. In terms of strength, he was only second to Nangong Wentian, which was why he was the first to ask him, "How exactly are we going to deal with this situation?" Nangong Wentian heard Nangong Wensheng's words, frowned, and gave him a complicated nod. Honestly, at this moment, Nangong Wentian was absolutely itching to kill me. Even though this son of his was a total good-for-nothing, constantly indulging in excessive debauchery, he was still his son after all. Who could bear the grievance of their son being killed? No ordinary person, that's for sure. But Nangong Wentian was no ordinary person. "Taoist Chuao," he declared, "our rebellious son intended to assassinate you. Your legitimate self-defense resulting in his death is only natural. Here Nangong Wentian sincerely apologizes to you." Nangong Wentian turned, shocking everyone, humbly cupping his hands in a bow to our MC. Yeah, Nangong Wentian actually held it in, but if you looked closely at his eyes right now, it wasn't hard to see. Nangong Wentian's eyes were bloodshot, his aura chaotic, and his body trembled slightly. As Nangong Wentian apologized to our guy on his son's behalf, he suddenly understood everything. Our MC letting Lu Rui get into such a bad situation, letting the Nangong clan finish her off, was actually a challenge to them. But this dude, he was so clueless, completely ignorant, even happily planning an alliance with our MC to wipe out the Lu clan. Little did he know, the Lu clan wasn't even touched yet, but his own son had already been sacrificed by our guy to raise the banner. Turns out the real clown was him all along. If we were ranking Qingzhou's top 10 most tragic dudes, Nangong Wentian would probably be right up there. Honestly, for someone to kill your son and then you have to apologize to that very enemy, that kind of restraint, not everyone's got it. So when our MC heard Nangong Wentian apologize on his son's behalf, his eyes flashed with surprise. He really didn't expect Nangong Wentian to actually swallow that humiliation. But before our protagonist could even wave his hand and say it's whatever, he heard Nangong Wensheng and his crew respectfully bowing to him. "Greetings, Daosu," they said. After the bow, Nangong Wensheng's gang looked at each other, seeing pure shock in each other's eyes. They couldn't believe our MC was actually here. But just as Nangong Wensheng and his crew were giving Nangong Wenshen the side-eye, a furious roar thundered through the entire Nangong household. "Zuao, you killed my brother, you're literally courting death." Hearing that roar, Nangong Wensheng's face instantly went pale and they all stared blankly at Nangong Wentian. Crash! Right then, a woman with a figure so perfect it defied physics kicked the door open, storming in from outside and immediately shot a furious glare at Nangong Wentian. "Dad, my brother was killed by Zuao. Give me some men, I'm going to kill Zuao." "He killed my brother? Does this Zuao guy seriously think the Nangong clan has no one left?" This woman was Nangong Wentian's daughter, Nangong K. Though Nangong K was beautiful, her personality was headstrong and overbearing, giving her an extremely bad reputation within the Nangong clan, arguably worse than the young clan masters. Nangong Wentian doted on this daughter the most, and in turn Nangong K doted on her younger brother the most. Just seeing her demand an entire squad to go kill Zuao and avenge her brother was proof enough. "Stop making a scene." Hearing his daughter, Nangong Wentian instantly got a headache and growled in a deep voice. After his scolding, Nangong Wentian turned to look at our MC, who was still chilling on his chair. Our boy kept an indifferent expression, said nothing, and silently glanced toward Nangong Ke. Nangong Wentian saw his expression and let out a quiet sigh of relief internally. However, just as Nangong Wentian thought everything was going to be chill, Nangong Kuei's voice, like a thunderbolt from a clear sky, boomed right into his ears. "Who the heck are you to demand to be a Nangong elder?" The moment Nangong Kue's words dropped, Nangong Wentian freaked out, and Nangong Wensheng and the others also went into a full-blown panic. Are you seriously asking me that? Right then, our MC's voice casually floated into everyone's ears. The very next second, Nangong Wentian tried to stop Nangong Kui from running her mouth, but he raised his hand too late. All he heard was Nangong Kui's sarcastic tone aimed directly at our protagonist. Who even are you? Obviously, I'm asking you. Is there anyone else even here? The moment Nangong Kui's words finished, Nangong Wentian didn't even have a chance to explain to our MC, when our guy stood up, waving a dismissive hand, cutting off whatever Nangong Wentian was about to say. He then spoke to Nangong Kui. You don't know who I am, yet you dare to speak to this venerable one in such a tone? Aren't you scared that if this venerable one slips up, I might just end up going full Sigma against your entire Nangong clan? The moment our MC finished, Nangong, her face full of blatant mockery, shot back. Who are you to be worthy of threatening our Nangong clan? Nangong clan head, your daughter's mouth stinks a bit. Our boy grumbled to Nangong Wentian, his face so dark it could drip ink and his aura turned absolutely savage. Nangong Wentian was about to explain to Nangong Kui, but before he could even finish, our boy just vanished on the spot, reappearing right in front of Nangong Kui. Nangong Kui stared at MC, who had suddenly materialized before her, a flicker of pure terror flashing in her eyes. The very next second, bam, Nangong Kui was launched backwards, slamming hard into the wall, barely breathing. Quare! Seeing this, Nangong Wentian instantly zoomed over to Nangong Kui's side, checking her injuries. After confirming she wasn't actually dead, he finally let out a sigh of relief. Nangong Clan Master, you've really got some fine children there, huh? Our boy said to Nangong Wentian, his voice practically dripping with sarcasm. Nangong Wentian heard what our boy said, and instantly caught the true meaning behind them. He was absolutely boiling with rage inside, but there was nothing he could do. All he could do was turn his face away, clenching his right fist so hard, honestly. Nangong Wentian was forcibly holding back a full-blown meltdown right now. You gotta know, Nangong Wentian doted on this daughter more than anything, but even he had to swallow his pride right now. So after Nangong Wensheng and our group left, Nangong Wentian could only lower his head, cupping his hands in a respectful bow. My apologies, Chu Daoyu, my foolish daughter has been overly pampered by me, and I've troubled Daoyu to teach her a lesson. Just as Nangong Wentian's words faded, Nangong Kui's breathing stabilized, and she slowly opened her eyes, looking frantically towards her dad. This was literally the first time she'd ever been treated like this, so she couldn't process it for a second. But when she saw her own father, Nangong Wentian, bowing in apology to our boy, something finally clicked in her head. Quare, get up and apologize to Chu Daoyu right now. Nangong Wentian forcibly pulled Nangong Kui up, growling, I'm talking to you. Is there anyone else in this room? Just as Nangong Kui's defiant words faded, and before Nangong Wentian could even try to explain to our boy stood up and waved his hand, cutting off whatever Nangong Wentian was about to say, and then spoke directly to Nangong Kui. You don't even know who I am, yet you dare speak to this venerable one with such an attitude? Aren't you afraid this venerable one might accidentally become an enemy of your entire Nangong clan? As soon as our boy finished speaking, Nangong Kui, with a sarcastic smirk, replied, Who do you think you are to even threaten our Nangong clan? Nangong Clan Master, your daughter's mouth needs a serious wash. Our boy grumbled Nangong Wentian, his face so dark it could drip ink and his aura turned absolutely savage. Nangong Wentian was about to explain to Nangong Kui, but before he could even finish, our boy just vanished on the spot, reappearing right in front of Nangong Kui. Nangong Kui stared at MC, who had suddenly materialized before her, a flicker of pure terror flashing in her eyes. The very next second, bam, Nangong Kui was launched backward, slamming hard into the wall, barely breathing. Quare! Seeing this, Nangong Wentian instantly zoomed over to Nangong Kui's side, checking her injuries. After confirming she wasn't actually dead, he finally let out a sigh of relief. Nangong Clan Master, you've really got some fine children there, huh? Our boy said to Nangong Wentian, his voice practically dripping with sarcasm. Nangong Wentian heard what our boy said, and instantly caught the true meaning behind them. He was absolutely boiling with rage inside, but there was nothing he could do. All he could do was turn his face away, clenching his right fist so hard, honestly, Nangong Wentian was forcibly holding back a full-blown meltdown right now. You gotta know, Nangong Wentian doted on this daughter more than anything, but even he had to swallow his pride right now. So after Nangong Wensheng and our group left, Nangong Wentian could only lower his head, cupping his hands in a respectful bow. My apologies, Chu Daoyu, my foolish daughter has been overly pampered by me, and I've troubled Daoyu to teach her a lesson. The moment Nangong Wentian's words dropped, a pale Nangong Kui slowly opened her eyes, panic-stricken, staring right at her dad. Bro, this was her first time getting treated like this. She couldn't even process it for a second, but then she saw her pops, Nangong Wentian, legit bowing and apologizing to me, and that's when it clicked for her. Quare, get up and apologize to Daoist Chuao now. Nangong Wentian practically dragged Nangong Kui up, letting out a low growl. That growl wasn't for Nangong Kui, it was him barely holding back his own rage. Chuao, he's the one who messed up my little bro. Nangong Kui heard what her dad said and was stunned for a second. Then she saw the state of Nangong Wensheng's squad, and it all clicked, confirming her suspicions. Nah, it's fine. I already gave her a lesson. I waved him off, telling Nangong Wentian. As soon as I finished, Nangong Wentian nodded gratefully at me. Then he turned to Nangong Wensheng. Wensheng, take Quare out of here. Understood, family head. Nangong Wensheng nodded at Nangong Wentian's command, then went straight to Nangong Kui's side and helped her out. With Nongong K finally gone, Nongong Wentian and I headed back to the main hall to strategize on how to handle the Liu family. Nongong Wentian's plan was simple: let me and the Liu family tear each other apart. Once we're both weakened, then he'd lead the Nongong clan disciples to swoop in before I can and finish off the Liu family. But plot twist. The Liu family already knew I'd step foot into the Nongong clan estate, all thanks to intel from their spies. They knew the Nongong clan had basically thrown their own young master under the bus just to team up with me. Meanwhile, in the Liu family's ancestral hall courtyard, the Liu family head, Liu Mobai, was reading the intel from his Nongong clan spy. His face was darker than a black hole, seriously menacing. The very next second, that intel paper just disintegrated into dust, vanishing into thin air. Liu Mobai then slowly stood up, silently glaring towards the Nongong clan's northwest. A moment later, clap, 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 Liu Mobai clapped his hands. Family head. 3 figures in black robes with cultivation. At the second-tier Transcendent realm, these Deathsworn appeared at the Liu family estate. These 3 black-robed, second-tier Transcendent realm Deathsworn were personally trained by none other than Liu Mobai himself. Unless it was an absolute last resort, these 3 didn't just move. The 3 of you secretly link up with the Liu family spies and snatch Nongong K for me. Liu Mobai addressed the head Deathsworn, his voice chilling to the bone. The head Deathsworn immediately nodded at Liu Mobai's command. Next thing we know, the 3 of them vanished on the spot, heading straight for the Nongong clan. Liu Mobai's play was to abduct Nongong K, threatening the Nongong clan into not making any rash moves. Nongong Wentian literally dotes on his daughter more than the entire Nongong clan combined. Everyone in Qingcheng knew this, it wasn't a secret. But whether they could actually snatch Nongong, that was still a big fat question mark. After that, Liu Mobai left, heading to the attic where the Liu family's old ancestor resided. And just like that, after a brief announcement, Liu Mobai entered the Liu family old ancestor's private attic. A long time later, when Liu Mobai finally emerged from that attic, a complicated glint flashed in his eyes. Moments later, that glint turned utterly ruthless, like he'd made some seriously messed up decision. And just like that, an order echoed throughout the Liu family, summoning every single collateral branch disciple. Time flies, and in the blink of an eye, 3 days were gone. In those 3 days, Qingcheng was hit with a grand total of 3 major incidents. The first bombshell? The Nongong clan started squeezing out the Liu family's businesses. The second shocker? Every single collateral disciple of the Liu family vanished without a trace, their whereabouts a complete mystery. And the third major incident? I showed up in Qingcheng. Compared to the first 2, my arrival was the only thing anyone in Qingcheng was talking about, the hot gossip after every meal. Right now, in the Nongong clan's backyard, I was chilling in the courtyard. Liu was right by my side, handing me the juiciest spirit fruits. Did Nongong Wentian say when we're finally gonna attack? I've been sitting here for 3 days straight, my butt feels like it's going numb. I popped a spirit fruit into my mouth, then asked Lu Ruyi, my eyes a bit glazed over. Real talk, I'm the kind of guy who gets restless if I don't fight for 3 whole days. Senior, the Nangong family head said to hold up for 2 more days. In 2 days, the Nangong family's old ancestor will finally emerge and roll with us to the Liu family. Lu Rui told me, alright, I'll let the Liu clan live for 2 more days. I just nodded, acknowledging our boy Lu Rui. While Lu Rui and I were having our little chat, over at the Nongong clan's main hall, Nongong Wentian narrowed his eyes at Nongong Wensheng beside him and asked in a low voice, is everything arranged properly? Big bro, everything's already taken care of. Once Zhuao and the Liu clan are both crippled, we'll make our move. Nongong Wensheng replied to Nongong Wentian. The moment Nongong Wensheng finished speaking, Nongong Wentian looked at Nongong Wensheng with satisfaction, nodded, and then declared if this plan succeeds, the entire Qingcheng will fall into the hands of our Nongong clan. Big bro, but this Zhuao's strength is seriously insane. He kills people in a single move, no one knows his true power. What if he wipes out the Liu clan without even a scratch? Nongong Wensheng asked Nongong Wentian. Honestly, this was Nongong Wensheng's only real concern at the moment. After all, just how strong Zhuao actually was, no one had ever witnessed firsthand. They only knew that Zhuao had effortlessly defeated a 3rd-layer Transcendence realm expert with just minor injuries himself. It's better to be overly cautious than caught off guard. Nongong Wentian's brows furrowed as he heard Nongong Wensheng's words. A moment later, he finally spoke. Don't overthink it. If Zhuao really shows overwhelming strength, then we'll still proceed with the original plan. And if a pawn has to be sacrificed, then so be it. For Nongong Wentian, this was just a bitter pill he had to swallow and pretend was sweet. The instant Nongong Wentian's words ended, his entire demeanor underwent an earth-shattering change. His eyes turned glacial, making one feel as if they'd fallen into an icy abyss, staring intently out of the main hall, as if he could see through the very void itself. At the same time, over at the Liu clan, Lu Mubai stood beneath an ancient, sky-piercing willow tree. This isn't just any tree, it's the incarnation of an ancient willow god. Don't you dare underestimate it. If activated with true chi, its power is absolutely no less than a half-step Saint Realm expert. And at this very moment beneath that willow, the severed heads of the Liu clan's branch disciples were grotesquely displayed. Fresh blood stained their empty eye sockets crimson. Though no expressions could be seen, it sent shivers down anyone's spine. Family head, the entire Qingcheng is now buzzing about the disappearance of the Liu clan's branch disciples. What if this gets exposed? Where would our Liu clan even hide our faces then? Liu Qingyun asked Lu Mubai. Liu Qingyun was the 2nd family head, his status and strength only surpassed by Lu Mubai himself. Liu Qingyun had a handsome appearance, dressed in a pristine white long robe, with a high straight nose and jet black hair that reached his waist. A closer look truly revealed his extraordinary bearing. Second brother, this was truly our last resort. If the Lu Shen doesn't absorb the blood of these branch disciples, our old ancestor has no way to control it. And if the Nonggong clan and Zhuao make their move against our Lu clan at that time, do you really think our Lu clan could withstand them? Lu Mubai asked Liu Qingyun, a complex glint flashing in his eyes. If there was any other way, who would want to sacrifice the lives of their own clan members for a moment of peace? The moment Lu Mubai finished speaking, Liu Qingyun said no more, only looking at the heads displayed beneath the willow with a complicated expression. Looking at those heads, Liu Qingyun slightly bowed, then turned to Lu Mubai and asked, "Is this Zhuao truly that terrifying?" The sect master of Qian sect is a third-layer Transcendence realm powerhouse. When he clashed with Chuao to sugarcoat it, he got a light scratch before offing the Xuan sect master. But let's be real, Chuao wasn't even phased and still bodied him. Lu Mubai heard Liu Qingyun out, scoffed a bit, then got serious. "So can our old ancestor, with Lu Shen's help, even hope to beat Chuao?" Liu Qingyun inquired. "No clue, but a sliver of hope is better than nothing at all." Our boy Lu Mubai muttered to himself. The moment Lu Mubai's words faded, Liu Qingyun gave a nod, then dipped. Once Liu Qingyun was gone, Lu Mubai plopped down, lost in thought, his eyes fixed on the head sitting right there. He pursed his lips. "This head, it belongs to Liu Qingtian, the head of the collateral branch." "Yep, all just to deal with Chuao." The Lu family wiped out all its collateral branch disciples. Even a peak-tier Transcendent realm expert like Liu Qingtian was offered up to the willow tree. It just shows how brutal the Lu family can be. But if they pull through, they'll be like a phoenix reborn from the ashes. I hope you can understand my choices. Lu Mubai just muttered to himself. With that, Lu Mubai dissolved into a white flash and was out of there. After Lu Mubai vanished, an old man with a limp limped silently towards the willow tree's base. This limping old man? He's the one from the Lu family's backyard who swore he'd repay his debt. Now, this old man, eyes full of complicated feelings, stared down at the heads lying under the willow. If I hadn't been hiding my true power, maybe none of you would have had to bite the dust. The old man with the limp mumbled to himself. The limping old man took the blame for the collateral branch disciples' sacrifice, shouldering all the fault. Then the limping old man bounced from the spot, vanishing into thin air. The next moment, the old man reappeared back in his janky little courtyard. Inside, a young dude, chillin' with a piece of dogtail grass in his mouth, was leisurely munching on spirit fruit from a plate. The young dude saw the old man limp back and impatiently hit him with, "Yo, what took you so long to hit the latrine, old man? I'm about to finish all the spirit fruit I was saving for you." Yeah, he sounded impatient, but anyone with 2 brain cells could hear the low-key worry. The limping old man heard the young dude's words and his wrinkled face tried its best to squeeze out a smile. Old age, kid. My bladder's not what it used to be. Got me all red-faced now." "Shizai, seriously, you're ancient. What are you even doing still kicking it with the Lu family? If I were you, I'd have pieced out to the countryside to retire ages ago." The young dude heard the old man, gave him an impatient side-eye, then hit him with a suspicious query. "Old-timer here at the Lu family to settle a debt. Until that's done, I ain't going anywhere." The old man with the limp just chuckled. Time, as it always does, kept on ticking. And just like that, 2 days zipped by. Over these 2 days, the Nonggong clan and the Lu family got themselves hyped and ready for the ultimate showdown. It was the night of the second day. I stood on the attic, silently gazing towards the Lu family, lips pursed. Shenshi should be wrapping up his mission soon. Then I can finally head back to the sect. Man, I really wonder what's going on with the sect right now. Low-key, I might not be super attached to the Reborn Immortal sect, but I'm still their junior martial uncle. So, to say I don't miss the place at all, that'd be cap. Plot twist though, the Reborn Immortal sect actually misses their junior martial uncle Chuao just as much. Turns out, Buzhou Mountain has been shaking more violently than ever lately, plus demonic energy is running wild, and it's so potent, it's got even Zige shaking in their boots. It's straight up unstoppable, which is why they already sent disciples to Qingcheng to track me down. Based on my calculations, the Reborn Immortal sect disciples should hit Qingcheng in 2 days tops. Fellow Taoist Chu Nonggong Wentian stepped up, giving me a respectful hand clasp. "Nonggong family head, what's good? Something up? Don't tell me you're dropping the hammer tonight?" I raised an eyebrow, quizzing Nonggong Wentian. "Yep," he said. "The old ancestor decreed, if we're gonna rumble, best do it sooner rather than later." Nangong Wentian dropped that bomb on me. After hearing Namgong Wentian, our boy nodded, then his gaze fixed on the largest attic of the Namgong clan. Inside that very attic, he sensed an aura far surpassing the 3rd layer of the Transcendent realm. Gotta be the Namgong clan's half-step Saint Realm old ancestor. At this moment, that half-step Saint Realm old man also turned his gaze toward our protagonist. He meticulously observed him, but alas, no matter how the old man tried to probe his aura, his divine sense always came back like a stone sinking into a bottomless abyss. "Well, if that's the case, let's get this show on the road," our boy stated, addressing Namgong Wentian. "Understood," Namgong Wentian nodded in response, then left. After Namgong Wentian departed, our boy's aura turned bone-chillingly cold, making it impossible for anyone to dare approach within 3 inches. Meanwhile, Namgong K had also received news that the Liu clan would be targeted tonight, and that his father planned to make a move on our MC. "Zuao, go bury yourself with my little brother." Namgong K gritted his teeth as he said this, then turned to look at the Namgong clan's guest elder walking behind him. Addressing Elder Nu, he said, "Elder Nu, I'll trouble you to accompany me on a trip to the Lu clan." Yes, Elder Nu nodded, hearing Namgongke's words. But the very next second, Namgongke's vision went black, his entire body went limp, and he crumpled to the ground. At the same time, 3 men in black appeared, directly scooped up Namgongke and vanished without a trace, along with Elder Nu from earlier. Half an hour later in the Lu clan's backyard, Lu Mubai looked at the prone Namgongke before him and nodded in satisfaction. Beside Lu Mubai were 4 other people, the 3 assassins plus Elder Nu. Elder Nu was actually the Lu clan's mole, planted within the Namgong clan. It must be said that being able to capture Namgongke and bring him here, the main credit went to Elder Nu, who tied him up and shredded his clothes. When Namgong Wentian brings the Namgong clan disciples here, our Lu clan will hang him in the most conspicuous place, for everyone to admire Namgongke's fair skin. Lu Mubai declared, giving orders to the 4 individuals in front of him. As soon as Lu Mubai finished speaking, the 4 people nodded, then took Namgongke and left. After they left, a venomous glint flashed in Lu Mubai's eyes, and his entire aura turned sinister. Boom! Right at that moment, the Lu clan's main gate exploded. The very next second, Lu clan disciples screamed, "The Namgong clan is attacking! The Namgong clan is attacking!" Following this disciples' cry, the entire Lu clan instantly descended into chaos, torches blazing brightly. Moments later, boom, 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 boom. A continuous series of explosions echoed throughout the Lu clan. "They're here?" Lu Mubai inside the living room heard the incessant explosions, then felt an earth-shattering sword intent, unconsciously gasping. A single blade of sword energy ripped through the sky, instantly illuminating the entire Qingcheng airspace. Soon enough, everyone in Qingcheng knew I had made my move against the Lu clan. The Wang and Yi families, seeing that sword chi, were like popcorn time and sent their disciples to go check out the drama. Honestly, those 2 big clans originally wanted to intervene, but sadly they talked it out and eventually backed off. My sword chi, a chilling slash across 14 prefectures, instantly carved a chasm into the Lu family grounds, dozens of zhang deep. The Lu clan, instantly littered with corpses. Seeing the sheer power of this sword, many high-ranking Lu clan members instantly lost their will to resist. And it wasn't just them, even big shots like Nangong Wentian were shitting bricks. Then, stomping on 9 swords, I appeared above the Lu family grounds, a world-defying, arrogant aura slowly radiating from my body. The next second, my icy gaze swept down, locking onto the Lu family. Today, Chu Ao obliterates the Lu clan. If anyone Qingcheng has a problem with that, they're next. My voice boomed like thunder on a clear day, and immediately actual thunder rumbled in the sky, echoing throughout all of Qingcheng. At my declaration, all those in Qingcheng who were there for the drama or plotting to make a move quietly retracted their true chi bounced and decided not to piss me off. Right now, in the entirety of Qingzhou, only a handful of people would dare. Meanwhile, in the Lu family's backyard, the limping old man heard my words, a faint grin spreading across his face, his eyes crinkling as he mumbled, "This young lad's got some decent power, but damn, he's way too cocky." "Old man, that's Chuao we're talking about. His strength alone could dominate an entire region. We need to pack our bags and bounce, like yesterday." The young man next to the limping elder, who was already busy packing, heard the old man's words and spoke up with a seriously annoyed look on his face. "Lu Chuan, my young friend, I already told you I won't leave the Lu family until my debt of gratitude is repaid," the limping old man told the kid. As he finished, a complex glint appeared in his eyes. The young man was Lu Chuan, the limping old man's only friend in the entire Lu family. And of course, the old man was also the young man's only friend. The reason? Lu Chuan couldn't cultivate since childhood. He was a certified trash tier. No one in the entire Lu clan gave a damn about him. Only the limping old man bothered to hang out. Even though Lu Chuan constantly bitched at the old man, his words were always laced with genuine concern. "So how exactly are you going to repay your debt by staying here? Can you even fight Chuao?" Lu Chuan, hearing the limping old man, asked impatiently. But just as Lu Chuan finished speaking, his vision blurred. He blinked, and when his eyes opened again, he found himself standing on a random mountain peak in the Qingzhou range. Beside him, the limping old man radiated a boundless sacred aura that eclipsed the heavens, his clothes and hair fluttering in the wind like some transcendent supreme expert. "Old man, you—" Lu Chuan, seeing this, couldn't believe his eyes, a finger trembling as he pointed at the old man. The limping old man, seeing Lu Chuan's utterly flabbergasted face, the corner of his mouth curled slightly, then he gave a faint, knowing smile, and instructed Lu Chuan, "My young friend, if I win this battle, I'll teach you cultivation. But if I lose this battle, then you better give up on cultivation, find a quiet little corner, and just live out your days in peace."